Happy Valley. You're watching the Big Ten on ABC. It's Penn State's home opener, and the Nittany Lions welcome Ohio to Beaver Stadium for a Big Ten MAC matchup on a beautiful 75-degree day in State College. Hi, everybody. Dave Pasch alongside Dusty Dvorak. Tom Luganville will join us in a little bit. Dusty, when you look at Penn State from 2016 to 2019, they had it rolling. A Big Ten championship, 3 11-win seasons, but then over a 2-year stretch, they went 11-11. But last week against Purdue showed a lot of promise, in particular their quarterback, Sean Clifford.
No question, a 6-year super senior, and he's looking to make the most out of his final opportunity. When he's healthy, he's good, and this team wins ball games, and he started the season healthy, and we saw a lot of good from Sean Clifford. 5 total touchdowns and overcame late game adversity. An awful pick 6 put Purdue in position, but a late 80-yard final drive, and this touchdown pass to Kevon Lee led the Nittany Lions to a big-time road victory. And if that's the Sean Clifford we get this season, man, could be a special one here in Happy Valley.
Year 6 for Clifford. He makes his 35th career start today against the Bobcats. State, Ohio, coming off 10 years ago. The Bobcats won here. They meet again next, and we'll be back after this message and a word from our ABC stations.
If you know you
I've got that blue sky, I've got that sunshine.
This table is go. I'm so ready.
Oh my God! Why is no one
so
sitting?
ready? I am so ready.
All right.
It's okay. Fine. It's fine.
Yeah, it's only one person.
It's 2 people.
If we lean towards this way, maybe.
Yeah. Okay.
No way.
What?
I want big. Football's better on 40-foot screens. Right, Travis Kelce?
Dave & Buster's, where winners watch.
Welcome back to State College. Dave Pasch, Dusty Dvorak, Tom Luganville for Penn State and Ohio. The Bobcats coming off an impressive Week 1 win. They put up 41 points against FAU. Penn State won at Purdue. James Franklin, year 9, just got a huge contract extension. Again, since COVID hit, they've struggled a bit, but in talking with Coach Franklin yesterday, he feels like they've turned the corner. Tim Albin was an assistant for Frank Solich 10 years ago when Ohio came in here and beat Penn State, when Bill O'Brien was making his debut as the head coach of the Nittany Lions. Sander Sahadak will kick it away to Keegan Wilburn. Penn State won the toss and elected to defer, so the Bobcats will start on offense. Actually, Ohio changed its helmets just a little bit this week to mirror their outfits from 2012 when they won here. And they're only doing it for today. From the 5-yard line, it's Wilburn. And he spun down at the 23. Ohio does have a very good quarterback in Curtis Rourke, who last week, similar to what Clifford did, scored 5 touchdowns, 1 on the ground, 4 through the air, 345 passing yards.
Got a good arm, Dave, playing with a lot of confidence. And when he's not thinking and just believes what he sees, this offense can run very efficiently.
To the air, in trouble, pressure in his face, and the pass is incomplete. Hakeem Beeman, who played really well against Purdue, at a tackle for a loss and a pass breakup in that game, was in the face of Rourke.
This is going to be the real challenge for Ohio up front, dealing with the defensive line of Penn State. Nice start there for Beeman. Undersized defensive tackle. Got a great first step and a nice inside pass rusher for this defense.
Ohio has a very good running back as well. C.A. Bangura, who had over 100 yards last week. He's in the backfield here. Behind Rourke on 2nd and 10 from the 23. Bangura gets the call, hit in the backfield, and down he goes. No gain. Curtis Jacobs on the stop. Let's go down to the field, check in with Tom Luganbill.
Well, guys, I want you to pay close attention to number 9 for Penn State. That's Joey Porter Jr. I think he's the most uniquely equipped corner in all of college football. Just under 200 pounds, 6'2". His arms are so long, and he moves like he's 5'10". I think he's going to be a top 10 draft choice one day.
Dad was a great player in the NFL, particularly for the Steelers. And a timeout called here by Penn State.
Yeah, I completely agree with Tom.
Timeout, Penn State, their first of the half.
That first game against Purdue, he was sensational. 6 pass breakups, had a couple. The one thing the coaching staff said, he could have been better. He had 2 interceptions that he was in position to make. He can come up with those plays. I think you're right, Tom. He is one of the elite cornerbacks in all of college football. And with that skill set that he has, going to have a chance to really be a high draft pick if and when he decides to come out. I also like the fact, Tom, not afraid to tackle. We know about all the cover skills, whether it's man, whether it's zone, up at the line of press, but he'll come up and hit you as well.
He's got the size to back it up.
There's Joey Sr., who has another son, Jacob, who's a freshman at Temple. Third down.
Pressure here, Dave.
And 9 from the 24. And Rourke with a long throw, and it's caught for a first down past the 40-yard line to Tyler Walton. Rourke told us he's used to those throws because he grew up in Canada, and the field is much wider. Worked a lot on his arm strength, and you saw it on display there.
Manny Diaz dials up a pressure early. Rourke stands right in there strong, takes the hit, and delivers a nice pass outside the numbers to move the chains on the first 3rd down.
Rourke is from Oakville, Ontario. His brother Nathan played at Ohio and is now in the CFL. So a 16-yard gain. Little option here. Rourke in trouble and spun down. Chop Robinson was there first. Transfer from Maryland, and it's a negative play. Loss of a couple.
Chop Robinson came on strong at the end of that Purdue game. Big pass rush, and you see him fighting through the double team there to make the play on the option into the boundary. Gets the nickname Chop. He was a 14-pound baby, Dave. His pork chop, he said, cut off the pork, just call me Chop.
It's actually a loss of 4, 2nd and 14, 2 minutes in. Out of the pistol, play fake, Rourke setting up, and fires deep. Incomplete, not on the same page with his intended target Tyler Walton. And Keaton Ellis at safety in coverage is from here in State College, so it brings up 3rd down and 14.
Really nowhere to go with the football. And this secondary, it is the strength of this Penn State defense. We already talked Joey Porter, but it's also Johnny Dixon, Kalen King, and we'll be talking about Jair Brown as well, Tom. Could be one of the better secondaries in the Big Ten this year.
See Manny Diaz, the defensive coordinator in his first year here after 3 years as the head coach at Miami. Talked at length with Manny yesterday. Said he really felt he could come here, recruit. He wasn't ready to come right back into things, but James Franklin called him early and often after he had let go in Miami, said this was the place for him. Pass batted down at the line of scrimmage. Again, Chop Robinson there, 4th down.
Well, zone pressure brought by Manny Diaz, and smart there by Chop Robinson. If you can't get home, try to get in the quarterback's passing window, get that hand up, and knock the ball down. Well done on that collection of plays by Chop Robinson.
And here's the punt. It is a bullet. And great play by Parker Washington, making an over-the-shoulder catch. Well covered, though, by Ohio. And the tackle made at the 23-yard line. John Gregory. So Penn State on offense for the first time with Sean Clifford, year 6. 24-year-old. Last year threw for over 3,000 yards despite playing with an injury. In his spare time, He's an entrepreneur. He has his own business. He launched an NIL agency to help teammates. He gets a percentage of the cut, and he also teaches a class, a marketing class, and at Penn State with his brother Liam, who's a redshirt freshman receiver. And Clifford here throwing after he looked like he was going to run out past the 30-yard line and to the 33. So on the first play, offensively, Jaden Dotton, who we hadn't seen at all last week, he's out there and gets 9 yards to start this game. Again, on the run, Clifford, a strike. This time it's Mitchell Tinsley, his roommate. Tinsley, a transfer from Western Kentucky, and it's a first down out to the 38.
New age triple option, Dave. Inside zone, quarterback keeps it. That defender closes. He has the outlet outside in his wide receiver. Same play to start this ball game. And Mitchell Tinsley going to be a real asset for this Penn State offense this season. Great find from Western Kentucky.
They will rotate the running backs. Nichols Singleton is in, true freshman. It was the National High School Player of the Year last year. He's from Shillington, PA. And he gets it here with a huge hole to the second level. First down out to the 49-yard line for a gain of 11.
Well, this was the Gatorade National Player of the Year, one of the elite running backs coming out of high school. And this is the one thing Penn State's got to be able to do. Last year, struggled to run the football, struggled in the opener, and they feel with Nicholas Singleton, Katron Allen, the true freshman, it's going to give them a chance to improve in that area.
Singleton again. This time he's tripped up at the 50, falls forward for about 3. It's interesting in talking with the coaching staff this week about Singleton. They say he always goes full speed, even when he's not supposed to. They go really hard in practice Tuesday, Wednesday. Thursday is a very light day. They had to tell him to stop going so fast on Thursday. I said, Coach, that's all I know.
That's what you want, man. Full speed all the time. It'll be fun to watch him grow and mature here at Penn State.
Clifford out of empty on 2nd and 7. Dumps it off across the middle to Washington for a first down. Turns the corner. Flag is down. Washington finally tracked down inside the 10. Another flag comes soaring in. One at the 23-yard line, one at the 30, and this looks like it's coming back.
I think they may get Kevon Lee here near the numbers.
Personal foul, offense, illegal blindside block, number 24. 15-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. Repeat first down.
We're going to see that called more and more. Illegal blindside block. It was Kevon Lee, as you mentioned. Cole Knuppel, our referee.
As you mentioned, Dave, a huge point of emphasis in college football, blindside blocks. And as he comes in,
Second down.
that's tough because to me, the defensive back is coming right at him. I didn't think that was a blindside block, but
looked like football.
Draws the flag. Yeah, not a big fan of that call right there.
So after the penalty, 2nd and 7. At the 48 of Ohio, Lee leaving the backfield. And Clifford looking that way. Nice catch out in space. He had the touchdown catch last week at the end of the game to beat Purdue. So he's a good receiver. And he gets a first down to the 40-yard line. Keith Thompson on the stop.
He's the biggest of the three-headed monster running back you'll see today. Goes over 230 pounds physical, but you see the nice hands there going up and making that grab.
Talked about the rotating of the running backs. Clifford in trouble, does well to get back to the line of scrimmage before he's stuffed. Kai Caesar in there along with Vonnie Watkins, as you would imagine with a group of 5 team. Not as stout on the defensive line, although Caesar, well, he's been eating more than salads. Let's just say that. He's 316.
I see what you did there.
He got tossed earlier on a play. I can keep going if you want.
Any anchovies with that?
You're here all day, Dave.
On 2nd and 10, a pitch to Lee. Trying to turn it upfield, and that was good by Kyle Kelly. Read it, found it, made the play, gain of 1.
Absolutely. Good pursuit down the line of scrimmage. Kyle Kelly really looked like he had blockers out in front and room to run. Setting up 3rd and long. We're talking with Spence Nowinski yesterday. He wanted to pick his spots when he was going to be aggressive and dial up pressure. They want to get Sean Clifford uncomfortable. See if he trusts his secondary here on the first 3rd and long.
9th play of the drive for Penn State. Clifford with time. Everybody seems covered, so he goes underneath and dumped at the 33-yard line is Trey Wallace. About 3 yards shy of the line to gain. Penn State might go for it here.
Wow, it was an excellent open field tackle there by Drake, coming up from depth at safety and making that tackle 3 yards shy of the first down. This seems like an area where James Franklin's going to go for it. Line change here for Ohio. Getting their substitutions in.
Well, this would be big for Ohio if it can come up with a stop here. Clifford will throw from the pocket. Open over the middle is the tight end Tyler Warren inside the 20 to the 16. Gain of 16. Excellent throw that time by Clifford.
I love how Sean Clifford goes through his progressions. Eyes start to the right of the field. It's not there. He comes back to the middle, and as soon as his big tight end clears the linebackers, he hits the open target.
Play fake. Clifford in trouble. Gets out of there. He's a pretty good athlete. Takes off inside the 5, diving for the pylon, and he's out of bounds inside the 2-yard line. The officials conferring as to where exactly he stepped out before the ball got to the pylon.
Smart by Sean Clifford, understanding where he's at. Right there close.
Yeah, foot looked like it landed out of bounds before the ball got to the pylon.
Close. Smart by Clifford, though. Goes through his progressions. Defensive end comes inside.
The ruling on the field is that the runner was short of the goal line and stepped out of bounds. The previous play is under further review.
Take a look again. You see the left or the right foot. I mean, he's out of bounds before the ball hits the pylon there, right? Seem pretty clear?
Close. When does the toe drag and where's the ball at right whenever it touches out of bounds? Can't really see where that ball is. If anything, it is right there a foot away from the goal line.
Right, doesn't look like the 2-yard line. Looks more like the half-yard line.
Oh,
they have it spotted between the 1 and the 2 right now.
Worst case, it's a yard in front of where it's at, right, Dave?
Yes, agree.
Worst case is you get another opportunity to run the football, right, Dusty?
No question. They definitely want to try to impose their will, establish that ground game.
I'll tell you, Dusty, I love, a 6th-year super senior, understanding where he's at on the field, understanding we don't have to force the football. We can just tuck it, run, make the safe play. He's just so smart and heady.
No question. Absolutely. And, man, he's got good mobility, right? I mean, he wants to be able to throw the football, but he can also tuck it and go and make some of those gutsy, gritty, hard-nosed plays.
It's interesting. He told us yesterday when we were meeting with him about, what'd you say to the guys when you got down last week and you're preparing for that final drive? He said, we're going to win. We're going to win the game. He went to guys on the defense and said, I got you. We're going to win the game. And, a lot of guys can say that.
Sure.
But clearly his teammates believe in him. And he went out there and did it.
When you back it up and you go do it, I mean, it puts a lot of legitimacy to your words. You know what I like about that whole sequence? After he throws the tough interception against Purdue, he comes over, he owns it, and he said, I missed him. It's on me. And left the coaching staff to know, I've got a veteran, mature quarterback. Didn't have to say anything to him. And then obviously when the ball is in his hand to close out the game, that's exactly what the super senior does.
Dusty, too, that's interesting because Mike Yurcich.
The field of the runner short of the goal line and out of bounds stands.
So we stepped away for like 4 minutes for that, which, again, that's one of the issues. College football is an incredible sport, but the games are too long. And reviewing every single play, is that still necessary? Have we moved beyond that where we have to review every single play? mean, it's pretty clear right away he wasn't in. So what took another? I understand when the ruling's overturned, and you got to figure out how much time's on the clock, all that stuff. But
I think there's a lot of people at home standing in their living rooms and applauding what you're having to say right there, Dave. I would agree.
They put the tight end, Brenton Strange, in the backfield.
Quarterback sneak, 86 going to push him forward.
And there it is. And Clifford appears to be in. Haven't got the signal yet from the officials. And there it is. Touchdown, Penn State. Good call.
We saw the exact same thing a week ago against Purdue. And having played right there over the ball as a nose tackle, nothing is indefensible. This is pretty much indefensible. As you see the big tight end, Brenton Strange, right behind, giving that what used to be illegal, the old Bush push into the end zone. And the Nittany Lions execute a nice opening drive.
Second touchdown run of the season for Clifford. That drive took 6 minutes off the clock. Big fourth down conversion. Clifford perfect. 6 of 6, 62 yards. And Penn State leads it 7-0 after the Pinniger point after.
Well, Sean Clifford was hot at Purdue, and he's hot here to start at Happy Valley.
I've got that blue sky. I've got that sunshine.
I would say that to me,
Meta Portal with Smart Sound helps reduce your background noise.
Bring that sense of calm.
So you come through loud and clear. Meta Portal, the smart video calling device that makes work from home work for you.
Our Saturday night game presented by Capital One, 10th ranked USC taking on Stanford. 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 Pacific, ABC, and the ESPN app. Trojans moving up in the rankings this week after an impressive showing in Lincoln Riley's debut last week.
Should be fun there on the farm. See if Coach Shaw can turn their season around from a year ago. Going to be a fun one there tonight.
And
USC was impressive last week.
One of us picked them to the college football playoff. Probably shouldn't get too cocky yet this week, too.
Definitely you. Hey, 12 plays on that drive. Very well done. Sean Clifford was flawless. 8 different players for Penn State had positive yardage. You were talking about spreading the wealth.
Gabe Wosu, the biggest kicker in the history of kickers. 6'6", 260 pounds. I might be generous. Here's Wilburn on the return for Ohio, and just too much speed for Penn State. He got tracked down backside that time. Kevin Winston and Zakee Wheatley in there on the tackle for the Nittany Lions.
College football on ABC is presented by Arby's. Arby's, we have the meats.
Penn State trying to go to 2-0 after that impressive road win at Purdue. They have a 7-0 lead right now over Ohio. This season, All-State will celebrate every field goal and extra point made by participating universities by making a donation to the university's General Scholarship Fund. Thank you, All-State. See how Ohio responds. Down 7-0.
Penn State challenging these wide receivers. Press man at the line. Joey Porter Jr., Johnny Dixon.
Start this drive on the 17. And Bangura, the running back, who had 67 snaps last week. Here comes a flea flicker, and Rourke going downfield, but it's incomplete, trying to hit Tyler Foster. And let's go to the studio and check in with Kevin.
Dave, good afternoon. Time now for our AT&T 5G studio update. Ohio State's offense wastes little time here, Dan.
Yeah, C.J. Stroud does a great job looking off the free safety, hitting the speed post on the backside. Marvin Harrison does the rest of the work.
42 yards. That would cap a 96-yard drive. Ohio State just scored again right now, 14-3 against Arkansas State. Back to you, Dave.
All right, Kev, and here it's 7-0, 2nd and 10. Ohio with a little trickery, but Penn State was all over it. Movement on the left side of Ohio's offensive line as Vanover jumped into the backfield for Penn State.
Full start. Offense. Number 76. 5-yard penalty. 2nd down.
Meservey a little bit early. He's lined up across P.J. Mustipher, one of the better defensive tackles in all the Big Ten. Great to see him back healthy out there for Penn State. And that's one thing Ohio cannot do, get behind the chains in self-inflicted penalties.
Wide receiver screen to Bostic across the 20, pushed out at the 22. So they get a chunk of it back, 7 yards. Abdul Carter, who's an outstanding-looking true freshman out of Philadelphia, who was tossed last week, got a targeting penalty the first play of last week, wearing that very special number 11. Penn State, that so many great linebackers have worn over the years, including Micah Parsons, who's going to be a Defensive Player of the Year candidate, most likely in the NFL this year with Dallas.
And I did not like that targeting call a week ago. I think the freshman was done wrong.
3rd down and 5, pressure off the edge. Rourke gets it away, and it's close to the line to gain. Sam Wiglis on the tackle. You see the closing speed there of Porter, but it does look like Ohio gets the 1st down.
Second time on 3rd down. Manny Diaz has dialed up with pressure. It gets home off the edge. But credit to Curtis Rourke. Stands strong, locates his target, and a big 1st down.
Going up tempo here. Rourke on the rollout, looking downfield, and then dumps it off to Bangura out to the 35-yard line. So it's a gain of 7. Rourke's starting to get in a little bit of a rhythm right now.
I like the decision by Rourke there. He put Abdul Carter in conflict. Carter was sitting right there with Bangura, and then he took the quarterback, and as soon as he does, a smart dump down to the running back.
Continuing his good decisions and, more importantly, accuracy from a week ago. And I think they got to keep moving the pocket like that too, Dusty.
Go out of the pistol here on 2nd down and 3. Bangura hit at the line of scrimmage, and then, wow, he gets popped by Abdul Carter. So a gain of only about a half yard on the play. We were talking earlier about Curtis Rourke's brother Nathan, who preceded him at Ohio and is now in the CFL. Teammates at one point, grew up in Canada.
A lot of competition between those two. He said he's always one step behind. But I'd be the first to tell you he can throw it better than his brother, and to wish him a healthy return as he is rehabbing from an injury. He's been lighting up the CFL.
Let's see what Littlebro does here on 3rd down and 2. Penn State bringing a lot of pressure, and Rourke completes it for a 1st down out to the 41 to Tyler Foster.
Got that bunch trips to the field, and Penn State unable to figure out exactly how they were going to come out of that stack. Tyler Foster just on a simple hitch route turns, and a good find once again by Rourke. 3rd down converted through the air by Rourke so far in this 1st quarter. He looks poised to me, Tom.
He does. And, you know, he had a 3rd quarter a week ago where he was unconscious and just making good decisions to get the ball out of his hand quickly. That's going to be key today.
Changing things up here, looks like. And they're going to run it. Bangura to the 45-yard line, gets clobbered again, this time by Curtis Jacobs. Looked like Rourke checked into another play, and it worked for about 4 yards.
Yeah, so this offense, they're going to get up to the line of scrimmage, they'll hurry to the line. They want to check the defense and get themselves in the right play. You'd like that, Tom. Old school trap inside. Pull the guard, influence the 3, and a decent pickup on 1st down.
Hey, as a nose tackle, you hated the trap, didn't you? You just hate it. You don't see it coming.
Not if I felt it. I'd deliver the blow.
2nd down and 6 for Ohio. Play action. Rourke in trouble again and just throws this one away. So 3rd down and 6 coming up. Jonathan Sutherland, a little bit of pressure. He's in year 6 and he's a 4-time captain.
That is rare, and obviously with the extra COVID year, it allows that extra opportunity. But Jonathan Sutherland, he's been so good for years on special teams, starting to make his impact felt on this defense. Manny Diaz from last week, late in the game to here early, you can tell they like bringing him off the edge.
Rourke, and an almost interception at the 40-yard line. A diving attempt by Keaton Ellis. There was a little pressure again in the face of Rourke. 4th down.
Yes, Chop Robinson off the left side. He's working on that right tackle that had some problems. Shedrick Rhodes even gave him some help with the running back and a little chip, but he still fights through and gets a good hit on Rourke. That pass just a little bit high of his intended target. Sam Wiggless, nice job by Penn State getting off the field on 3rd down.
Weiland to punt for the 2nd time. Parker Washington is the deep man for the Nittany Lions. It's another line drive. Washington from inside the 10. Chased down at the 16-yard line. Cannon Blauser and Kyle Kelly with a special team stop for the Bobcats. Penn State's offense back on the field when we return.
Well, Sean Clifford off to a hot start. I love the savvy veteran. Watch him use his eyes here on 4th and 2. Pull that middle linebacker, Key Thompson, out of the middle of the field. Work back to his tight end. Wide open and a beautiful conversion. And then you better keep contained with Sean Clifford. Defensive end Jack McCory comes inside, allows the edge, and Sean Clifford takes it. And then a push into the end zone.
Here's Singleton in trouble. Flags are down, and down goes Singleton. Got back to the line of scrimmage. Singleton, not just a great football player in high school, but track and field as well. Did the shot put. It's not like he was just a track guy. Did the shot put.
Fence number 32, face mask. 15 yards from the end of the run. Automatic 1st down.
Probably doesn't need to be said, but it's true. If you're going to beat a team like Penn State, you can't make those mistakes defensively. Bryce Houston with the 15-yard foul.
Unfortunate, too. Bryce Houston, a 5th-year senior, played a lot of football.
Well, on top of it, right after you made a play, right?
That's exactly right. Hold them to a no gain, and instead it's plus 15 for Penn State.
From the 30-yard line, Singleton with running room. And then he turns on the Jets past the 50-yard line. Stays in bounds. They will not catch him. Singleton all the way for a 70-yard touchdown.
Well, this is the explosiveness Penn State fans have been waiting for at the running back position.
There is no foul.
We mentioned the track and field. We mentioned the field. There was also the track, and you saw the star power there as he just outran everybody.
Outstanding job by Sal Wormley to help secure the edge. And then it's one of the best running backs in America coming out of high school that finishes it off. What'd you like so much about him coming out, Tom?
He reminded me a lot of Texas running back Bijan Robinson. He's got great contact balance. We just saw the speed, but given his size, that thick lower half, he's so explosive, Dusty.
Point after is good from Pinniger, and it's 14-0 Penn State.
To get out on the edge, you got to have good blocking. Penn State able to get that with Sal Wormley getting out in front, getting on that cornerback, Zach Sanders. And then it's Singleton doing the rest with the speed and athleticism in the open field. Haven't had a 100-yard rusher, Dave, in quite some time.
Yeah, 17 straight games. You got to go back to Keybon Lee at Michigan in 2020. And already Singleton with that 70-yard touchdown run. You talked about the offensive line. Wormley, first career start last week. Missed last year with an injury. They got some other guys who are new up front. Landon Tangwall made his first career start last week as well. So already Singleton on the day, 84 yards on 4 carries.
And to me, that's what's going to make this Penn State team a dangerous force in the Big Ten East. If they can get that balance. We know what Sean Clifford is capable of. If they can develop and establish that rushing attack and balance this offense out, it's going to make them a force to be reckoned with throughout the season.
Third kickoff already for Penn State. This one in the field of play, but angled beautifully. Wigless, not a lot of room. And out of bounds around the 21-yard line. Let's go to the studio and Kevin.
Dave, want to remind our audience, week 2, jam-packed schedule. We got you covered on the ESPN family of networks. Spencer Rattler, Arkansas. Well, they are up 7-3 against Rattler's South Carolina squad. Over on ESPN 2, Kansas State holding a 7-3 lead against Mizzou. Sam Hartman back for Wake Forest. They're up 7-3 against Vandy on the SEC network and ACC network. Miami up. Right now, actually, Miami's trailing 7-3 against Southern Miss. We'll keep an eye on that game. Highlights at the half. Back to you.
Miami's got a big one next week at Texas A&M on ESPN.
Like that 4-box look, Dave. Man, that's nice.
2:23 left here in the first. Already 14-0 Penn State. And they're still bringing heat. And the completion out to the 28-yard line to Bostic. Second catch for him.
James Bostic needs to be a feature player in this offense. Great size at 6'3", 230. Transfer from Vanderbilt. He didn't do a whole lot last season, but he's really come into his own from the spring to the fall. Had a great start to the season with a $136 and a touchdown. Already a couple of grabs here this afternoon.
Struggled last year, lost his confidence, got injured in camp, which didn't help. But you're right, they're counting on him big time this year, and he's off to a great start. Got 7 yards on that last play. Some movement again by Ohio, but it might have been because of the contact from P.J. Mustipher, their outstanding defensive tackle.
I think this one's on 97 here. Trying to jump that snap.
Offside. Defense, number 97, with contact. Result of the penalty is a first down.
Well, Mustipher spent about 15 minutes with us yesterday. Second team All Big Ten last year, and that's after playing in about 4.5 games. He still made second team All Big Ten. He got hurt against Iowa. That ended his season. He's already got his degree in journalism. Told us yesterday wants to be a coach. Two-time captain, brother Sam in the NFL. As Bangura gets up to the 35 for a first down. What was most interesting, by the way, about our conversation with Mustipher yesterday, you know, for some professional athletes, rock stars, movie stars, they're in awe. As soon as PJ came in, he looked at Tom Luginbill and said, I still have my picture that I took with you 7 years ago. And so he took another picture with Tom. He just wanted to talk to Tom the whole time.
Tom is a superstar. How'd that feel, Tommy?
It was good seeing him, and I remember the picture. We were at Michigan. He was on an unofficial visit. I think he was an 8th grader or a freshman, something like that. But yeah, he came in, and that was the first thing out of his mouth. Dave was so jealous.
That's what happens every time we go into a restaurant with Tom.
Off a pump fake, Rourke hangs in there, completes it to the 40 to Alec Burton, wrapped up there. Mustipher said he grew up watching ESPN all the time. Said he thought about getting into broadcasting. That's why he got the degree in journalism, but now wants to be a coach. Just good to see him healthy. He's a really good player.
Yeah, an impressive young man.
He was great to talk to. Smile on his face, commands the room. And to your point, guys, you know, get past 4 or 5 games of playing, you make second team All Big Ten. He stays healthy. He's going to have a great year.
2 tight ends on the near side here. Could be a bubble.
And it doesn't look like Ohio will snap it here. Or will they? Yep, right at 1 second left, and maybe they shouldn't have. Incomplete pass. It's going to be 4th down when we start the second quarter. Well, as expected, it's all Penn State. 14-0 after 1. The big play coming from the outstanding freshman running back Nicholas Singleton with a 70-yard touchdown run. We'll be back after this message and a word from our ABC stations.
To get an honest day's work, you need a response. You need a callback. You need a job. Express Employment Professionals can help. Express Express knows jobs. Get to know Express.
What's up? I'm streaming here on AMP where the music is picked by people, not algorithms. Are you with it? There you go. She said
I'd co-host this Sad Boy show with you any day.
I love being a sad boy with you, my dude.
Yo, who else loves this song? Carlin.
Lil Yachty, what inspired you to start making music?
See, my father was a photographer, so I was always...
Welcome back to ESPN College Football, presented by Arby's. 14-0 Penn State after one here in Happy Valley. Dave Pasch, Dusty Dvorak, Tom Luganville. Ohio on 4th down and 3, punting it away to Parker Washington. Fielded at the 18, some running room. Washington finds a seam at the 30, past the 45, and finally pushed out near midfield. Take a look at this week's college football rankings, brought to you by Goodyear. We touched on USC moving into the top 10. Big one on ESPN tonight, Baylor at BYU. And obviously Alabama and Texas. Does that surprise you? That game's tied right now.
I thought Alabama would win, but I thought Texas would show up and play tough. 10-10. Interesting matchup there. Ohio State seems to have found their offense. And really, we had Clemson last week. I'm intrigued to see what DJ Uiagalelei does this week to inferior Furman. He needs to really start to figure it out and lead that offense.
Clifford to the air, in trouble, backing up, and that pass incomplete. A little bit short, intended for Trey Wallace. First incompletion for Clifford in this game. Was 6 for 6 on that opening drive. First time in his career he's done that.
Nice pressure there. And that really, if there's a deficiency in Sean Clifford's game, it's the overall arm strength. When he can set his feet, step into the throw, he can put it anywhere. But when he's trailing, falling back, just lacks a little bit of that true arm strength to find the target.
Empty set on 2nd and 10. This time, Wallace on the catch. And a first down to the 40. Gain of 12 on the play before he's gang tackled. Justin Burchett leading the charge. We were talking with Clifford yesterday about this. I mean, again, he's got his own business and everything, but he still wants to play. He wants to play in the NFL. He's 24. There's a place for guys like him that are leaders, that not necessarily a starter, but you can make a good living as a backup for a long time because of intelligence and leadership. And a guy that can go win you a game if you have to. Here's a deep shot and overthrown, incomplete, but that was good coverage by Torrey Cox downfield on Mitchell Tinsley.
I'm with you. Smart, tough, leader. Got some nice mobility, which is very much in vogue at all levels of football now for the quarterback position. You know, I mean, Kenny Pickett is a guy that comes to mind from a season ago. You look at the senior year he put together, ultimately wound up being a first-round pick. He had a 6th, 7th round grade the year before. Sean Clifford looking to stay healthy, maximize, and make the most out of this super senior season and put himself in position for the next level.
On 2nd and 10, Singleton drilled in the backfield back at the 41-yard line. Key Thompson with the stick. So that's a loss of about 3. Bring up 3rd down and long.
A nice job by Key Thompson. Big hitter. They love him. Spence Nowinski, the defensive coordinator from Ohio, called him a missile. And he was a missile shooting in there to create the negative play at 3rd and long.
I think this is the area of the offensive line that we really got to pay attention to with Penn State. They have got to be able to impose their will on teams like Ohio and prepare for the Big Ten in the run game to get the balance you referenced earlier, Dusty. We got the big explosive run, but it's got to be consistent in the offensive line.
See how they hold up here on 3rd down and long. Good protection. And Clifford into traffic. Juggled and incomplete. Broken up. Again, Dotton, the intended receiver, downfield. So it's 4th down.
That's a really good break on the football here by Torrey Cox. Undersized defensive back. That ball's up in the air. And a couple of Ohio defenders come in to get that pass breakup. That was so needed for the Bobcats to find a way to create a stop.
And a more on to punt. First punt for Penn State today. Penn State probably just would assume giving more room to the punter. Devon Hunter is the return man for Ohio, who apparently is here today, even though he was not on the travel roster. Unless my eyes deceive me. Doesn't have the name on the back of his jersey. Everybody else does.
Full start on the kicking team. Multiple players with an abrupt movement, simulating a snap. 5-yard penalty, 4th down.
Well, you wonder, is that Tyler Walton is wearing a different number? Perhaps there's 2 number 4s out there right now, because you see the number 4 on the back of the helmet. He's got the 41 jersey, which again is a player that's not listed on the travel roster. So we're going to assume that that's Walton. And what an incredible punt. That thing stuck at about the 1-inch line. Malik Mega was down there for Penn State, and Ohio is backed up as far as you can get.
Wow, looking like Dave Pash's sand wedge when he's on the golf course in the offseason. Perfectly executed here by the Penn State special teams.
Longhorn fans having flashbacks when Texas lost Colt McCoy in the national title game. How about Quinn Ewers going down?
Yeah, Dallas Turner, just a good pressure, but he drives him into the ground, and that's where the penalty came in.
Taken to the locker room, and Texas, though, would find the end zone with Bijan Robinson.
Yeah, they're going to have to count on Bijan a lot right now, bouncing outside on the run for the 1-yard touchdown.
10-10 game. Alabama with the football. Back to you, Dave.
Man, you hope he's all right.
Had a good start to that game. So much promise coming out.
Ohio backed up inside the 1, and the ball's on the ground. It's either a safety or a touchdown. It's recovered by Ohio, by Merritt, so it's a safety. 2 points for Penn State.
And I think Amin Vanover comes in and punches this out. Initially, it looked like maybe it was a fumbled exchange, but I think it's a great play by Vanover. Vanover's going to come in, and after the exchange goes funny, excellent job punching that ball out. And Ohio fortunate to get on top of it and only suffer a safety.
But they will have to kick it right back to Penn State. Disastrous for Ohio. Started with the great punt, though, by Amore to pin Ohio inside the 1. First safety for Penn State since 2018 against Pitt.
I think it was a combination of both, as we got a better look from the backside. As you saw Rourke pull that ball out from Bangura, the ball starts to jar loose, and then Vanover comes in and punches it a second time to ensure that Rourke can't hold on to the football. And just, that's what special teams sets up, though, Dave. When you've got a punter that can pin you deep like that and set your defense up to pin your ears back, it's always a scary place for an offense to be. And that credit right there goes to the Penn State punter with the 2 points on the board.
So Singleton is back. Vandenberg will kick off from the 20 after the safety. Singleton from the 16. Gets close to the 40 before he's brought down. Kick off your Sunday with NFL Countdown at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. We go one-on-one with Dak Prescott on ESPN. Then Monday Night Football. Russell Wilson returns to Seattle in his first game playing for someone other than the Seahawks. Denver is in town. ABC, ESPN, ESPN Deportes, ESPN Plus, Peyton and Eli on ESPN2. The NFL is back.
Fired up for the NFL season. I just got a little, throw something out there for the 12th man at Seattle. You can boo him when the game starts, but when they announce the starting lineups, Russell Wilson, I think he deserves a standing O.
I'll bet he gets
to be applauded. He should get one.
I think he's going to get one. Would be surprised if he got booed. Jet sweep. Singleton dragged down at the line of scrimmage.
That's a good tackle on the edge there by Bradley Weaver. Gets Singleton on the edge with a full head of steam. It's a dangerous proposition for a defense, but excellent job getting the talented running back on the ground.
By the way, we're talking about the NFL. A lot of people are picking Buffalo to win the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And after watching Thursday, you could understand why. Man, they demolished the defending Super Bowl champion Rams. Josh Allen was outstanding in that game. 2nd and 10 for Clifford. There was no contact, though. He got back onside. That's why they didn't throw the flag there for an offside penalty. Clifford takes off, finds some running room. Got a lot of green in front of him. And scoots out at the 44. Gain of 19.
What's the problem when you got a mobile quarterback and you go man-to-man coverage? The defenders will run off, and the pass rush, a big lane opens up inside. And Sean Clifford, there's that much green grass out in front, he's going to take it.
Wide receiver screen. Again, Doughton with a couple of catches, 3 targets. He's to the 40-yard line. We have not seen Lambert Smith much. He's on the field now, but they haven't thrown it to him. You got Tinsley in Washington. They're still trying to figure out who's that third guy. They're pretty confident that Tinsley and Washington are their top 2 receivers, but Doughton, who's hobbling a little bit, getting a lot of work here in the first half.
I told you, I love Mitchell Tinsley on tape. Highly productive, over 1,400 yards, 14 touchdowns at Western Kentucky. Just looks like a pro. Route running, hands, a little bit of everything for this offense.
His uncle was a strength coach at Penn State. That's how they ended up getting him. Here's a sack back near midfield by Watkins, getting to Clifford as the offensive line broke down there. Loss of 10.
Well, that's a huge sack for this Ohio defense. How about Vonnie Watkins? And we worked on the right side. Bryce Effner is the offensive tackle. And then inside, it's Kai Caesar. Wall is just closing down around Sean Clifford. Big negative play created to set up a 3rd and long.
Watkins just destroyed that double team on the edge there, Dustin.
No doubt. Nice rush from the inside and the edge.
So 3rd down and 15 now after that 10-yard setback. Clifford dumps it off across the middle. Wallace inside the 40 and drilled out a play about 3 yards short of the first down. Roman Perotti with the hit. Was close to being out of bounds already. When contact was made, looks like Penn State will go for it again. Well,
Harrison,
4th down earlier in the game.
Sorry about that. Harrison Wallace, you can tell, Dave, they're trying to establish him as potentially at number 3, and no question, a go for it from James Franklin here on 4th and short.
So you got both Singleton and, Allen is the running back. That was Omari Evans in motion. Here's a timeout by Ohio.
Timeout, Ohio. Their first of the half.
And with that timeout. All right, so we'll step away. 16-0 Penn State.
College football presented by Arby's on ABC is brought to you by Popeyes.
That was 2012. A lot going on then. Joe Paterno in the previous year dismissed after the Jerry Sandusky debacle was brought to light, and O'Brien, that was his first year. A lot of players had transferred, but give Ohio credit. They came in here, won that game. Tim Albin, who's the head coach now, he was the offensive coordinator for Frank Solich. This is year 2 for Albin as the head coach. Solich had to step away from a health issue, but is here today, and he's doing well. 4th down, Penn State going for it. Clifford gets away, and then he gets mauled at the 39-yard line by Jeremiah Burton. And Ohio takes over on downs.
Well, that's outstanding coverage down the field. There's nowhere for Clifford to go with the football. He bought himself some time, waited for something to come available, but just nowhere. And finally, the pursuit from Burton gets home, and they get a big 4th down stop. I mean, everybody just body on a body. Very well done by Spence Nowinski, defensive coordinator of Ohio's defense.
Now see if Ohio can do something with this now. First down at their 37. And Nolan McCormick Got tackled, but the quarterback did a great job with the fake, and Curtis Rourke gets a first down, gain of 12. But we talked about the fact that Tim Albin was the offensive coordinator then. He took a picture that day before the game with his family, and then they recreated it minus the jerseys for the kids because they didn't fit anymore.
That's awesome. Man, that's cool. How much time changes. See his kids all grown up, and now he's got his own program. It's year 1, season 2 for him. Remember, Frank Solich stepped away right before the start of last season. He was kind of thrust into that position. They were close last year on a lot of games. A 3-9 record, not indicative of kind of how close they were. And they think this year they got a real chance to compete in the MAC.
Rourke's pass off the mark. Looked like Walton could have had it, but got turned around by Jalen Reed. Well, you think about Ohio. Again, you mentioned 3 wins last year. That ended a streak of 12 straight non-losing seasons under Frank Solich. They are expected to contend for the MAC championship this year. Won a national championship at Northwestern Oklahoma State. He's a huge Sammy Hagar fan. In fact, he's become friendly with Hagar, where occasionally Sammy will wear an Ohio jersey on stage.
Love that.
Called it Van Hagar, though I know there's a lot of David Lee Roth fans that were in attendance that.
What, are you trying to start a fight here amongst Van Halen fans? Come on.
Lee Roth, there are a couple of us David Lee Roth guys, and called it Van Hagar. I don't know. Had issue with that. And here's a long throw on 3rd down and 2. Interesting 3rd and 2, but it must mean they're going for it on 4th and 2.
I don't love that decision there on 3rd and 2. Look at Coach with Sammy Hagar back in the day. Back at his Oklahoma roots from Woodward, Oklahoma. He's back close to home. Actually, my old radio partner there on the far right.
A lot of people at home are probably wondering, who's Sammy Hagar? Van Hagar? The David Lee Roth, Sammy Hagar thing, that's like our era. I don't know if our younger listeners are going to be on Google right now checking out what exactly we're talking about.
Big 4th down right here for the Bobcats.
A must convert, you would think. And a throw over the head of the intended target, Miles Cross, incomplete. So 3rd down and 2 and 4th and 2, and they take shots essentially downfield, and they turn it over on downs.
And they can't help their defense out. That defense has come up with back-to-back stops here, and the Penn State defense answers 16-0 here in Happy Valley.
Got that blue sky, I've got that sunshine.
At Navy Federal Credit Union, it all starts with members like you. Because we were founded as a not-for-profit with a mission dedicated to your well-being, with everyday banking tools and loans, all backed by 24/7 support, the kind of support that comes from being a proud partner within your community. Because when you're a member, it all starts and ends with you. Navy Federal Credit Union. Our members are the mission.
Let's go, State!
Take a look at the Taco Bell Live Más student section. Student sections across the country are competing to be the Live Más student section of the year all season long. Such a treat anytime we get to come to State College. It's one of the best home crowds in college football. Just a great venue, great fan base.
Incredible.
They run it to Katron Allen, and the true freshman is out to midfield, running over defenders, including Kai Caesar, who's 300 pounds.
Did you say K-Train Allen? Because he looked like a freight train there, bowling over Alvin Floyd at the end of that run. Good physical run, running through arm tackles and lowering the shoulder to finish it off.
Allen played at the IMG Academy for Pepper Johnson, the head coach there, and here he goes again. To the 40 and to the 39. Wrapped up by Tariq Drake.
Nice job, the left side of that offensive line, caving everything down. And one thing I noticed about Allen, good patience as a runner, and then he hits the edge and explodes.
Sometimes it's hard to have patience as a young back, too. You know, you worry about patience, pass protection, protecting the ball. All of these guys are very, very mature in those areas.
In trouble and sacked. Clifford hanging on to it too long a couple times. John Gregory on the takedown. And and that's a loss of 11.
Well, they're dialing up the pressure. They're not afraid. They said, we're going to be aggressive. 32, Bryce Houston up the middle, and it's 13, John Gregory coming off the edge. Both guys get home, and that's that freshman running back, Katron Allen. They thought they were good in pass pro, but the savvy vet, Bryce Houston, slides off him. And another nice sack there on Sean Clifford.
Do you agree, though, that he's hanging on to it too long a couple times?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah. I think so.
3 sacks now by Ohio. So 2nd and 21. Screen pass. And a ton of running room for Allen inside the 40. And he gets the first down on 2nd and 21, picking up 22 yards.
You want to be aggressive? We'll use it against you. Very well set up, and a nice play call by Mike Yursich. Set up perfectly into the boundary, quality blocking, and Katron Allen in the open field. I want to ask you something, Tom. Allen and Singleton, 2 of the top running backs in America coming out. How rare is that to see 2 guys in the same class go to the same school?
Very. I mean, we've seen it with Georgia a couple times, Sony Michel, Nick Chubb. We've seen it with Alabama, but it does not happen often. But I think these backs now start to understand that there are no more bell cows. There's going to be enough balls to carry around.
Allen wrapped up that time after a gain of 1. Give the young men credit, too, because a lot of guys now, they don't want to share the football. They want to go where they can be the guy and get 60 snaps a game. But it's in their best interest, right? To
Absolutely.
Split carries, especially when playing the NFL.
100%. Totally agree.
Save your body. Play action. Clifford on the half roll. And beautiful throw. Big hit after Tinsley made the catch, knocked out of bounds. But it's a first down to the 15.
I think that's when he's at his best at times. Very good selling the play action, using that mobility, nice on the bootleg. And you see the quality route running by Mitchell Tinsley coming open, and the veteran quarterback finding his man.
Burchett with a huge hit on Tinsley to get him out of play. So first down at the 15-yard line. Quarterback draw. Well read by Jack McCrory. So no gain on the play. And there's an injured Nittany Lion.
Timeout for an offensive player injury.
I want to make sure about the number before we say it. We'll check out who the injured player is when we come back. It's UFC 279. Nate Diaz's last fight, taking on Tony Ferguson. You can order the main card in English and Spanish. Go to ESPNplus.com/PPV. Hunter Norzad was the offensive lineman who was shaken up on the previous play.
Devin Ford in the game. He's the pass-catching running back for Penn State.
You see him leaving the backfield. They throw it to him here out in space at the 15, inside the 10, and dives out of bounds around the 8-yard line for a gain of about 6.
Talked a lot about the big 3 you'll see. Kevon Lee, Nicholas Singleton, Katron Allen, and they love to bring in Devin Ford, typically on 3rd down situations, but catches the ball almost like a receiver. A nice pickup on 2nd down.
No, he's a guy that came in with another back when he came in with Noah Kane, who then transferred to LSU. So Penn State's done a nice job recruiting running backs.
Ford again leaves the backfield, Tom. So empty here. Big 3rd down for Ohio's defense. You have to think if there's any chance of them coming back to win this game, can't get down 23-0. Clifford to the air, waiting, moving left, and throws it away. So a good hold that time by Ohio. 4th and 4, and let's see if Penn State settles for 3, and they will.
I mean, credit this Ohio defense, man. There's nowhere for Clifford to go with the football. Everybody's covered. He wanted to go to the short side of the field, the boundary. 86, Britton Strange was his first option. He's covered. 28, Devin Ford, he's covered as well. Well done, making Penn State settle for a field goal.
And these are short players on defense. I mean, at the MAC level, you've got 5'9" corners, 5'10" corners. These Penn State guys are big kids, and they're covering them up.
25-yard field goal try for Pinniger, and he buries it to make it 19-0 Penn State.
Let's take a look at one of the most talented running backs coming out of high school from a season ago, Nicholas Singleton. He's making his name felt today. You see a little bit of the between the tackles, power running, and then the speed in the open field. It's good blocking as well by Penn State. Sal Wormley loves seeing the big guys get out in front and watch Nicholas Singleton pick them up and put them down as he has a big-time house call. 81 yards on 5 touches so far today. And the other freshman, Katron Allen, 4 touches for 44 yards. America getting a glimpse of what the future is in the backfield for the Nittany Lions.
You look at their yards per carry last week, about the same as last year, but that number doubled today. Competition will get a little stronger starting next week. They got Auburn on the road. They have to go to Michigan this year. They have Ohio State and Michigan State both here in Happy Valley.
It's such a key. Those graphics are glaring, aren't they, Dave?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
13th in the Big Ten a season ago. That opening game under 100 yards, and you saw it, 3.1 a carry. It's improved today, but it's going to need to be something that is consistently improved all throughout the course of this season.
There's big Gabe Wosu, who will kick it away.
Got to be the biggest kicker in America, right?
Ever.
Man, out there before the game, that's a big dude.
He's bigger than you. You played nose tackle in the NFL. This is a kicker that's bigger than you. Touchback. It'll come out to the 25. Let's see if Ohio has anything offensively. A couple times they put together decent drives, but only to stall, including the last possession. They got to about the 40 and could not convert a 4th down and short.
Really a testament to Manny Diaz and this Penn State defense. They got off to a slow start against Purdue. Once they settled in, though, latter part of that game a week ago, the last 5 possessions against Purdue only allowed 2 first downs. We've seen here today, very impressive crew on the defensive side.
Don't have to abandon the run either. Bangura's only got 4 carries after 23 last week. Let's see if they try to get him going. No, it's hard against that front for Penn State. Play action instead. Rourke setting up, and Wiggless on the catch. The Ohio State transfer, first down to the 40-yard line.
Nice job by Wiggless, coming free in the middle of the field. There was a blitz, and the pressure got home. Beeman comes free. I really appreciate and respect the toughness of Rourke. Stands in there, waits until Wiggless comes open, and he finds him.
Oh, Wiggless was wide open, and Rourke just missed him that time. Threw it high. 2nd and 10. Wiggless, as we mentioned, transfer from Ohio State. He's got 2 years of eligibility left. He was a walk-on at Ohio State. Did play in 13 games a year ago.
One that Rourke wishes he had back, Dave. Had his man wide open in the middle of the field with grass out in front. Just a misfire, something we didn't see much at all a week ago.
Completed 80% of his passes last week.
4 touchdown passes and a touchdown run. Was the MAC East Offensive Player of the Week. And a win over Florida Atlantic. Put up 41 in that game. Scoreless so far here. Out of the backfield, Bangura. Nice open field tackle at the 46-yard line by Jair Brown. Captain on this team who led the country in interceptions last year. He's a guy that had no scholarship offers coming out of high school, went to junior college, and now he's an all Big Ten player for Penn State.
Absolutely love this story. No scholarship offers from the D1 level, goes to Lackawanna, improves, make the most of it. Jaquan Brisker was kind of his mentor, now one of the best safeties in all of college football. Awesome stuff.
How do you make 3rd team all Big Ten when you lead the country in interceptions? How about this little hook and lateral? Bangura is to about the 41-yard line. They needed something like that to happen. And they get big play there for a first down, 13 yards, moving it to the 41.
Love the design, love the execution, and the offensive coordinator of Ohio, Scott Isfording, He's dialing up, and he said, man, we've got to get this first down. Let's dig into the bag of tricks, and it keeps the drive alive.
That was Wiggless on the catch and the pitch. Rourke, open receiver, caught inside the 30-yard line by Jacoby Jones. It won't go down. They finally blow it dead at the 29. This is the deepest Ohio has been in Penn State territory today. And they can get a touchdown, get it to 12 points before halftime.
And Manny Diaz keeps bringing pressure. Blitzes both the inside backers, both King and Jacobs. Middle of the field's open. And Rourke with enough time to operate. And he locates Jones for another first down.
Saw that 4-5 in this drive, and the one incompletion. The receiver was wide open. They found something in the middle of the field. Seen receivers run free a lot on this possession. Bangura finds a running lane and a stiff arm. Dragged down by Brown, but it's a first down. Gain of about 12.
Boy, nice job by Shedrick Rhodes, the right tackle, helping secure that edge. And you see the burst from Bangura. Tom and I talked this week. We think he's got a chance to be one of the better running backs in all the MAC. Nice player right there, Tom.
No question. He's a Power 5 talent. Just landed at a Group of 5 school. And, boy, I tell you, this is a nice drive. And you talk about that pressure Manny Diaz has been applying. Credit Curtis Rourke. He knows where to go to the football, and he gets it out quickly.
Bangura, 93 rushing yards in 4 games last year. Took the red shirt. Had more than that last week. Had 114 yards on the ground last week. And another trick play. It's going to be a throwback to the quarterback. Rourke is open inside the 10, and Rourke dragged down at the 1-yard line. Jacoby Jones with the pass. It's first and goal for Ohio.
Little Philly special there, it looked like, Dave Pash. Man, Scott Isfording again, the Ohio offensive coordinator. Jacoby Jones finds the quarterback wide open. A nice move in the open field by Rourke to come down to the 1. This would be huge before halftime if they could punch this in.
Trick plays are hard to execute once.
Right.
That's 2 on one drive.
Right. No doubt. They tried one earlier in the first quarter. It didn't work. But obviously they feel if we have any chance, we got to pull out all the stops, try to get some points. Bangura bounces off of a tackler and is into the end zone for the touchdown. That was a great run by C.A. Bangura to get Ohio on the board.
Man, outstanding individual effort by C.A. Bangura. As you see, Mulba comes through, comes clean, and an outstanding spin move right at the point of attack makes the initial defender miss. My apologies, that was Van Den who had the penetration. And a huge touchdown here for the Bobcats.
True freshman Nathaniel Vakos on for the point after. And it's 19-7 Penn State with 1:34 left. All right, let's check in with Kevin Nagandi now back in the studio.
Dave, thank you so much. State Farm halftime report just minutes away. Kevin Nagandi alongside Booger McFarland and Dan Mullen here. So far, Ohio's showing some light. You like what you're seeing from the Penn State offense?
Yeah, Nick Singleton, Katron Allen, the young running backs at Penn State showing a bright future for them running the ball.
Yeah, and if you're Ohio, you got to get some semblance of a ground game going. They have none. Let's see if they can get that going in the second half.
Bobcats showing some life, though, getting on the board here. Of course, highlights coming your way. Alabama, Texas Tide.
Struggling.
Highlights. We'll see you soon.
That does seem shocking. Coach Mullen, a guy that was never afraid of trick plays, he's got to appreciate what he's seeing from Ohio on that last possession.
No question about that. Love it. Maybe Coach Albin thinking a little bit of running with the devil there. Little Van Halen song.
Oh, that's David Lee Roth, though, so I don't know that he would go there. He would have to be a Sammy Hagar song.
Look at you. I mean, just shooting down my comments. Okay.
I'm speaking for Coach Albin. He would never quote a David Lee Roth Van Halen song. Here's Singleton. Dumped at the 23.
Well done by you, Mr. Pash. Well done by you. The mobility of Sean Clifford, we've seen it a couple times. Man-to-man coverage. Run the defenders off, a running lane, and he sees it, and he's going to take it. And I love it when they can get Sean Clifford outside the pocket on the move. Very comfortable out there. He's got after him and sacked him 3 times. But we've seen some good here this first half from Sean Clifford.
First down at the 22 for Penn State. Nittany Lions have 2 timeouts to work with. Minute 29 on the clock. Clifford, big hit on Parker Washington. Torrey Cox is listed at 5'9", 196. He looks, when we were on the field, more like 5'6", 5'7", but it's a big hit. And there's an injured Penn State player, and it is Washington who caught that pass.
Timeout. Offensive injured player.
Even if you're 165 pounds, going up against a guy that's 215, you can still deliver a blow, and Cox did certainly that. Washington helped to the sideline.
Dusty, that's one thing we noticed all week long with this Ohio group. They play hard. They will hit you. Coach Nowinski calls them the mutts on defense. No thoroughbreds. No purebreds.
Love that. No pedigree in Athens, Ohio, blue-collar defense.
Clifford from the pocket steps up, delivers it at the last second, and completes it to Lambert Smith. Gets a first down up past the 40-yard line. Great play by Clifford that time. Keep the play alive.
We're making something out of nothing. Again, good coverage down the field. He climbs the pocket, and as he's falling, he locates Lambert Smith.
Plenty of time for Penn State here. Ford out of the backfield, tripped up. Say went out of bounds, so the clock will stop with 53 seconds left and still 2 timeouts remaining for Penn State.
They were flawless a week ago in the 2-minute drill. Not 1 but 2 touchdown drives in the final 2 minutes a week ago. 1 to go in at halftime with the big play from Britton Strange, and an epic final drive to cap the game off against Purdue. Clifford very comfortable operating this offense inside of 2 minutes.
So 2nd down and 3. Ford still in the game at running back next to Clifford. Clifford hits Lambert Smith, makes the defender miss, has a first down to the 41. Clock will stop to reset the chains with 46 seconds left, 10-yard pickup.
Tell you what, if Keandre Lambert Smith can have the focus and catch the ball consistently, that's your third option. His quickness and speed, elusiveness, it's impressive.
Again, Clifford with time to throw. Everybody covered for now. Clifford steps up and then throws it out of bounds with 33 seconds remaining. Still 2 timeouts at the 41 of Ohio. Here, the Bobcats. By the way, Parker Washington back in the game, so appears to be okay. Here, Ohio feels like can't give up any points here at all, even 3.
They're making them earn it, though. I think that's the thing about this Ohio defense. The offense has to help them out, but all they've had is a big run from Nick Singleton. Aside from that, Ohio's played well.
6th play of the drive for Penn State. Clifford with the football, and Lambert Smith could not, or check that, Wallace could not come up with the pass that was thrown a little wide. Sometimes you wonder, though, when you see that, is that on the receiver or on the quarterback? Kind of looking at Clifford makes you think maybe the receiver didn't run that route properly.
Well, he's got a comeback route. You really like to see him drive a little bit harder on that football, but I still think Clifford a little bit wide, misfiring on that pass.
So 3rd and 10, they go empty. You saw Kevon Lee's now at the top of your screen. Clifford over the middle and stabbed by Washington. First down and more. Inside the 20, inside the 10. Washington is in for the touchdown. What a great catch and run for 6.
Wow, and just like that, all the momentum back with Penn State. Parker Washington, so good with the football, but I love the strong hands, snatching that ball over the middle. And so difficult to deal with in the open field. Little spin move, and he hits the sidelines, the tightrope all the way in to the end zone.
First touchdown for Washington. Last year had a big season, 64 catches, was 6th in the Big Ten. So a 41-yard score on 3rd down, which was their first 3rd down conversion of the game. Looks like this will be reviewed to see if he stepped out of bounds.
Ruling on the field of a touchdown is under further review.
Now this potentially is a significant review, because if he did step out of bounds, you only have 18 seconds. Maybe they put a couple seconds on the clock and they still have 2 timeouts, but you're getting closer to the end of the half here. Want to make sure that he definitely got in and did not step out of bounds before hitting pay dirt.
We're up a little ways, but from here, take a look at his feet right on the sidelines. I mean, it was close. He was tight roping it.
Ooh, was it the 7-yard line?
Right around the 7, right?
If it wasn't the 7, I think he's in. If he was in bounds there at the 7-yard line, then it should be a touchdown. Let's see this angle here. Right there. I don't know if we can blow that up, guys, but
side of his foot maybe touching right there on the white.
Again, it has to be indisputable video evidence to overturn the ruling on the field. Might have even stepped out of the 12 also. Like 2 spots that it was really close. And that one's in. It looked like before, like a step before the 12, and then this one here at the 7.
It's good there.
But this one right here, is that one in? It's really hard to tell, and
very tough.
Probably will stand, right?
One at the 7 looks the closest.
But man, it's as close as you can get. And the fact that Washington did that for about 20 yards is pretty impressive balance.
No doubt.
Your momentum's coming this way right after that catch toward the sideline, and he turned it upfield and hugged that sideline the entire way down the field.
Excellent punt returner, and again, just the way he's built like a running back. He gets the ball in the open field. He's so dangerous, and he's just hoping. He's hoping this thing is going to stand.
Again, if he is out of bounds, they've got to figure out, okay, what down is it? Where did he spot the ball? How much time's on the clock? All that. That's the reason why it might take a little bit longer.
I think it looked to me like the 7 was the closest if he was out. 7 is possibly where they're going to bring it back to. Yeah, so I think clearly they're going to bring this back. The question is how much time is left and exactly where are they going to spot this football. A lot they have to sync up, Dave. I know that you want it to go quicker, but a play like this, you got to get it right.
No, that's why I was saying it takes longer, when you're going to overturn it, because you have to look at the clock, you have to look at where to spot the ball, what down is it, all that. So if they're bringing it back, that's why it's taking as long as it is. And it, again, from up here, looked really close. They're still looking at it. Now I think they're finished with their work, and here comes the announcement.
After further review, the runner stepped out of bounds at the 7-yard line. It'll be first and goal at the 7-yard line. Please reset the game clock to 20 seconds. 2-0. Thank you.
So they put 2 seconds on the clock. That's why we said that was a significant review, because for Ohio, you have a second chance here to hold Penn State to right now likely 3 points.
You hold them to 3, that's a 2-score game as opposed to a 3-score game. Just the psychological aspect of it to hold them out once again would be big for this defense.
And first and goal, still 2 timeouts for the Nittany Lions. Over the middle, and it's caught for a touchdown. Boy, somehow he threaded that through 2 Ohio defenders right into the arms of his roommate, Mitchell Tinsley, the transfer from Western Kentucky.
Just a simple slant route, and it's an absolute bullet. You mentioned it, the safety coming over the top, and Clifford to be able to fit that ball in that tight window. He had to throw it with some velocity. Loved the route coming inside. An excellent catch to finish off that drive.
Vinegar on for the point after. And so it's a big score for Penn State after Ohio got a little momentum, and it's 26-7 Nittany Lions.
That's 3 for 3 on the season as far as executing at the end of a half. Mike Yursich, James Franklin have to be elated about the end-of-half execution. Did it twice a week ago against Purdue, and once again here this afternoon against his Bobcat defense.
All right, time for our Aflac trivia question for today. Penn State has won 20 consecutive non-conference home games. Where does this rank in the Big Ten? We've stepped these up a notch. Like
Ohio State's not on there because they lost to Oregon a season ago.
Correct.
You start listing off teams that
I think this is number one.
I would imagine it is our game. I'm gonna go there as well. Top of the charts. Got a thought on that, Tom?
I need Dave to restate the question again because you guys went out on me there for a second.
Penn State has 20 consecutive non-conference home wins. Yep. Where does this rank in the Big Ten? We think it's the longest. We think it's number one.
Got it. All right.
Most people would say Ohio State, right? But the Ducks.
Yeah, the Ducks got them.
They were quacking last year.
Wigless taken down at the 21-yard line with 11 seconds left. All right, so let's go ahead and answer this question. 20 consecutive non-conference home wins for Penn State. Where does this rank in the Big Ten? It's number one, as we said. Michigan 17 games is second.
What do we win? What do we get?
Set of steak knives.
A pat on the back, Dusty.
That's it?
That's it, buddy.
Come on. Jeez.
Ohio takes a knee, and that's the end of the first half. Penn State will get the ball to start the second half. A lengthy opening half here in State College comes to an end under cloudy skies after we started with a beautiful blue sky 75-degree day. Getting a little sticky here in State College. James Franklin, he'll take it. 26-7 is the lead for the Nittany Lions. We'll send it to Kevin Agandi, Booger McFarland, Dan Mullen for the halftime report. Right after these messages and a word from our ABC stations. Welcome back to ESPN College Football presented by Arby's. Packed house in Happy Valley, and you're watching the Big Ten on ABC. 26-7 Penn State in front of Ohio as we get ready to start the second half. Dave Pasch, Dusty Dvorak. We'll check back in with Tom Luganbill here in a minute. So Sean Clifford, if you're a Penn State fan, you got to like what you've seen through a game and a half. He's already accounted for 2 more touchdowns today, 7 in all this season.
Over 200 yards passing, efficient, 19 of 25. What I love the most, though, is the way he continues to conduct himself at the end of halves. That final drive, Ohio had kind of stolen some momentum, fought back into the game, and then that touchdown drive to close out the half, regaining the momentum before they get the football coming out of halftime.
He talked with us yesterday at length about his leadership, his toughness, and we saw that on display along with a lot of skill. He can make some plays. We saw some excellent plays, including one on third down where it looked like he was going to get sacked, somehow made a play, got him a first down, and eventually they got in the end zone.
They can ad-lib on the run. The mobility's been on display. A little bit of all facets of Sean Clifford's game. And again, plenty of experience making his 35th start here for this Penn State program.
Vandenberg kicking off. And this will be a touchback and come out to the 25.
Take a look at some of the highlights from that first half as we just wax poetically about Sean Clifford. That final drive, extremely well executed. Play you were just talking about, Dave, and Parker Washington has a big play as well. Cap it off with, I believe, the best receiver on this roster, Mitchell Tinsley, on a slant, a bullet fitting in a tight window, and Penn State regains all the momentum before the break.
Penn State goes to Auburn next week. Trying to get off to a 2-0 start. Run play on first down. Singleton gets outside. And Singleton, there he goes again. And a 70-yard run in the first half. Finally taken down inside the 25, but that's a 50-yard run.
And it's Britton Strange that tied in with a good block right on the edge of that offensive line. And that speed, it is lethal for Nick Singleton. Man, get out in the open field and good luck It's going to take more than arm tackle to bring him down.
That ends the streak of 17 consecutive games without a 100-yard rusher. Singleton now at $129 on the day and only a handful of carries. This time he's dragged down at the 25, gain of a couple.
Talking about Britton Strange. We saw his ability in the pass game a week ago, and that was something this staff was worried about. The tight ends of Penn State, both in the run and the pass game.
Pump fake. Clifford looking, airing it out, and it's knocked away incomplete by Torrey Cox, intended for Tinsley. Check in with Tom.
You know, guys, I was kind of tongue-in-cheek with Coach Franklin coming into the locker room. I said, we got the 2-minute part down. And he said, no kidding. He goes, I'm really frustrated. We sputter a little bit. Well, then we put together some really, really nice drives. He goes, but we may just line up and play fast. If that's what we're best at right now, it might be exactly what we do and maybe have it become something a little bit more prevalent in our offense.
See what they do here, Tom, on 3rd down and 8. Try to punctuate that great run by Singleton with a touchdown. Clifford has time, dumps it off, but over the head of Singleton, incomplete. A good hold by Ohio. 4th down and 8.
It's a great play on that 2nd down by Torrey Cox to recover and get that ball away. It looked like Mitchell Tinsley had it in his grasp, but Torrey Cox with the excellent pass breakup to force that 3rd down. And nice stop after the initial explosive play from Singleton.
So Jake Penniger made a 25-yarder earlier, on for a 42-yard try. Hugging the right upright and no good. So if you're a Bobcat fan, you still have hope. After Penniger misses, you saw an Ohio player jump into the backfield. I wonder if that distracted the kicker.
Little hurdle there inside and a push from the Penn State kicker. We're just getting started in the second half. It's 26-7 Penn State.
Take a look at Sergeant First Class Sean Thomas, father of Devon Ellies, as we honor those who serve. Brought to you by Navy Federal Credit Union. Served 24 years in the U.S. Army, 3 combat deployments as a combat cameraman and communications chief. So thankful, all our men and women who have served, currently are serving, as you look at Sean, or will serve in the future.
Well said. Thank you guys so much. Freedom isn't free, Dave.
First down for Ohio on its 25 after a missed field goal by Penn State. Rourke to the air, taking a shot downfield, underthrown and nearly intercepted. Going for Cat Merrick, and the linebacker Curtis Jacobs had a beat on it and looked upset that he didn't come up with it.
Yeah, I want to go with the wheel route with the tight end, and it's perfectly played by Jacobs in great position. And you mentioned it, ball underthrown by Rourke, and fortunate this tight end able to get his hand on that and knock it away.
He became the defender, no doubt.
Bangura has only got 6 touches. Surprised they haven't maybe tried to establish him a little bit. Another pass play on 2nd down. Rourke in trouble, but he does have some running room. First down, heading for the sideline and steps out after a gain of 25.
Huge play right here created by Curtis O'Rourke. Finds a seam right there in the middle of that pass rush and tons of green grass out in front. Not as mobile as his brother, but enough to get it done and get a huge gain to start this second half.
14 carries and a rushing touchdown last week. Here comes a blitz. Rourke gets hit, and the pass was off the mark because of the backfield pressure. Bostic was the intended receiver, and Jair Brown was in the backfield for Penn State.
Mentioned Curtis Rourke's brother, Nathan, all-MAC quarterback, leading this Ohio Bobcat team before Curtis took over. Now part of the CFL. Rourke with a career day a week ago, 345 yards on right around 80% completion. Tougher sledding here this afternoon. I'm with you there. I'd like to see him try to establish Bangura.
Rourke keeps it here in trouble, taken down for a loss. That was Jacobs who made the play. So it'll bring up third down and long. It was interesting. Rourke told us yesterday. We mentioned this at the top of the show, but if you're just tuning in now, he really worked on his arm strength in high school. Growing up in Canada, now the field is long. It's not just longer, it's wider. What do you say, it was 73 yards?
110 by 75 in 20-yard end zones.
Crazy. So he said he had to get used to those longer throws and work on his arm strength.
Also coverage. You know, there's an extra guy on the field, so he had to really relearn coverage with one less guy.
And one fewer down, too. It's a 3-down league up there.
Best coverage here at the line of scrimmage on third and long.
Pressure off the edge, wide receiver screen. Brown is all over it. Walton taken down. Isaac, defensive lineman, read that too and made the play. Coming off his first career start after an Achilles injury. Cost Isaac the 2021 season.
Yeah, I try to just go with the simple tunnel screen here, and it's excellent pursuit by Isaac down the line of scrimmage, as well as Jair Brown in perfect position to force the ball carrier to his defense. That's well done on third and long.
And disappointing for Ohio. They get to midfield and go backwards. Bangura did not touch it at all on that drive. Penn State got close to blocking it. There was a little contact with the punter, but no flag. The kick sails out of bounds. May have been blocked a little bit. And take a look to see if somebody got a piece of that football for just an errant punt by Weiland.
Excellent pressure there from the Penn State special teams. It's a 24-yard punt.
When it comes...
Our Saturday night football game presented by Capital One. Number 10 USC taking on Stanford, 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 Pacific. It's also on the ESPN app. Trojans moving up to number 10 after an impressive debut for Lincoln Riley and company. And the crowd is going wild right now here at State College because 6'5", 242-pound true freshman Drew Aller is in the game. He played a little bit last week when Sean Clifford had cramps. We don't know if this is just to get Aller on the field or if Clifford is shaken up. But Aller hands it off on first down. No running room. Keaton Allen is flattened by Denzel Daxon.
I'll tell you, fellas, Drew Aller is going to be one of the most physically impressive prospects you'll see coming out of high school. About 6'5", 242. You see the size. What I think is so impressive is he's got arm talent and arm strength. Those aren't the same thing. The ball pops, it jumps, it carries, and it finishes, but he can also change his arm angle. He can dump it off. He can throw off platform. He's got the arm strength to compensate when things aren't perfect.
We were on the field watching it before the game.
Man.
And he can chuck it. Here's a screen to the tight end. Brenton Strange has a first down past the 40. Gain of 12 to the 42. Aller was 2 for 4 last week. He started the second half last week. And again, starting the second half offensively for Penn State. Actually, Clifford got one drive. Sorry to start the second half.
He was really impressive, as you mentioned, Dave. He is a big dude. He's every bit of 6'5", 240 plus. And to Tom's point, the ball just comes out of his hand effortless on a rope.
Timeout.
Wow, this
defensive player injury
here at Penn State.
Full
Beyond
media
excited
timeout
about the potential of this freshman, Drew Aller.
Bradley Weaver shaken up for Ohio. Back in a second. James Franklin had it rolling from 2016 to 19. 3 11-win seasons, a Big Ten championship, 11-11 over a 2-year span until the win last week. And he told us, said, look, I'm not making excuses, but COVID did set us back. We lost some depth and also just his coaching style, being relational with players. He said until the Michigan game, which was very late in the season, he didn't see anybody in person as Katron Allen gets the first down. And now you've got all these young guys, Dusty, where they have depth, and he feels like we're back to where we were in 2019 in terms of personnel and just things being normal.
Absolutely, and this looks like a team that's going to have a promising season right now. And you talk about that depth, and it's a lot of what we're seeing here. We've talked a lot about Singleton, Allen. Now we're getting a chance to see Drew Drew Aller, and the fact that really, you know, Sean Clifford didn't have much of a backup last year. These are great, vital reps here for the young freshman early in the season.
Aller, with pressure in his face, delivers a strike. Parker Washington, there's a flag down 2. Thrown right at the feet of the defender that hit quarterback Drew Aller.
38, Keith Thompson off the edge.
Here on the field, though, watching Aller, he was throwing the ball from.
Personal foul, roughing the passer with targeting. Number 38, defense, 15-yard penalty, added to the end of the run, automatic first down.
So they'll review the Thompson thing here. Hard to tell there. Was that crown of the helmet? Did he? If it wasn't crown of the helmet, did he hit him in the head or neck area? But we were watching on the field, Aller before the game. Am I wrong? He was throwing from the 50 to the goal line like it was nothing, like a rope, too.
100%, effortlessly. Back to this Keith Thompson hit. I don't know if he uses the crown, but there's a launch, right? He jumps up in the air, and he dips his head almost to use that helmet as a weapon to hit the quarterback, and it was just unnecessary. It's a nice job by Aller to stand in there, deliver this pass.
Dusty, it was like LSU and Ali Gay
It's
last
exactly
Sunday.
what it looked like. I thought the exact same thing. Like, it's just intentional. It's just not needed.
He jumps into the air to try to defend the pass, and then in midair decides to duck his head. Remember, too, now that the crown of the helmet has been changed to basically a circular area of a 6-inch radius at the top of the helmet. It's not directly now right above the face mask, so the side of the helmet too is not targeting, because we've seen some that in the past would have been called targeting.
Well, it's exactly the case with Abdul Carter a week ago. And so what you're trying to say previously, Dave, to your point, anything behind the face mask was deemed the crown of the helmet. That goes to the sides, the top, anything behind the face mask. They've changed that rule, I think, accurately to that 6-inch area that you're talking about from the center of the top of the helmet. I think that is exactly what they should do, but it's changed definitely the way that this targeting rule is going to be officiated. And look, Keith Thompson's a good player, but you just got to be smarter than that in that moment than to come down with force like that and lower your head at a quarterback. That was just unnecessary.
No, Dusty, looking at the throw, and you referenced it, and we were talking earlier about the difference between arm strength and arm talent. How about how he got rid of that ball? He's 6'5", and his arm is at his waist when he threw the ball.
No doubt, Tom. 100%. We're taking a look one more time. That targeting call. He's an impressive prospect. There's no doubt. I would imagine his time will come, but
can you imagine if they would have had him at Iowa last year?
Would have been a nice guy to go to in the bullpen when needed.
Yeah.
And it just felt like the season kind of changed trajectories, right? Whenever Sean Clifford went out in that game and really never got to come back at full health.
After further review, there is no penalty for the play. We still enforce the 15-yard penalty for roughing the passer for a high hit. First down, Penn State.
So no targeting.
Wow.
It's just still for Keith Thompson. He's a really good player. He's an edgy guy. No reason. I don't even think it would have been a roughing the passer had he not come down the way he did with the helmet down, hitting the quarterback. But
any late contact with a quarterback, if it's egregious, is going to get called.
An intentional one could have been avoided. He'll have his chance to continue to come back in and make his mark on this ball game.
I just don't know how they overturned that. Based on what we saw, was there enough evidence to say beyond all doubt that it wasn't targeting? That was the call on the field. Play action, Aller setting up, throws a deep ball. We talked about it being effortless. Boy, oh boy, was that a beauty to Omari Evans. The true freshman speedster for a touchdown.
Well, there's a lot to be excited about right now. But this Penn State team. As you referenced, Dave, true freshman to true freshman. And Amari Evans, the speed is real as he comes loose on that post route in the middle of the end zone. Part of the 4x1 100-meter state championship team out of Killeen, Texas. Getting a glimpse of what the future is going to look like for this offense. They got some weapons.
Point after is good. 33-7, Penn State.
Great that we get a chance to see Drew Aller in action here as he's going to take the deep shot, hit that deep post, just effortless. And what I like is he puts that ball with plenty of air, allows his receiver to run underneath. And the first touchdown pass of what you would think of many for Drew Aller.
I love how he led him across the field, Dusty, away from coverage, laid the ball and just dropped it in the basket.
He's every bit of 6'5", 242 also standing on the field before the game.
A lot of Ben Roethlisberger type comparisons with him, especially from a measurable standard.
His offensive line likes it.
So no, Ohio in big trouble. They were actually in it 19-7 with about a minute to go in the second quarter. They gave up a touchdown at the end of the half. And now it's on. 26-point lead for Penn State. Still 9.5 to go in the third quarter. So Philip Cole is deep, along with Wilbur. And the big guy again, Wosu, on the kickoff. Another touchback. Let's go to the studio and Kevin.
Dave, reminding you, plenty of games going on this afternoon. We got a good one right now between South Carolina and Arkansas, 21-16 on ESPN. Look what's going on in Atlanta. Georgia State coming back. Up 28-21 against North Carolina on ESPNU. Wake Forest in control on the SEC network. Same story for Miami over on the ACC network. Back to you.
North Carolina defense has had some real struggles. FAMU week 1, App State scored 40 in the fourth a week ago. Now losing. That Georgia State team, crazy.
Here it's 33-7, Penn State. Nolan McCormick going to get some reps now at running back. They want to make sure Bangura is rested for Maction. Oh my! McCormick eaten alive. Chop Robinson and Isaac. We're in the backfield on the handoff.
You're exactly right. Off the edge, Isaac unblocked. Just an easy tackle for loss. It's just a plan of, hey, let's meet in the backfield and have a running back sandwich. Well done off the edge.
Have chops. Incompletion as you had Isaac in the backfield there forcing the early throw, 3rd and 13.
Pork, not lamb, Dave. Pork chop.
Depends on what your accompanying dishes are.
His nickname was Pork Chop.
You don't want to be a lamb chop. It sounds soft, right?
Yeah. Dave would prefer the lamb.
But then it depends on what you're serving with.
It's more of a dainty meat.
What is it? Does the wine change with the pork or the lamb?
It does. You got to consider what you're. That's what I said. 3rd down and 13. Hit again, long throw, is on target, short of the line to gain. Wigless on the catch. You would imagine Ohio will go for it on 4th down and 2. Nothing to lose at this point. Now they're going to punt.
Marquise Wilson coming up, lowering the shoulder. Catch tackle. Quick 3 and out there for that Ohio offense. And
why wouldn't you go for it, though? I mean, at this point, you're down 33-7. You got to score. So what if you don't get it? Penn State's probably going to score anyway. fair catch, especially if you're going to punt it like that. 30-yard line. We'll be back in 8 seconds. Now a look from Ram Trucks.
Ram Trucks, built to serve.
All right, so let's see if looks like it's going to be Aller. Clifford without his helmet. Again, don't know if this is just because it's 33-7 or if there's anything wrong with Sean Clifford. He did leave last week's game due to cramps. And in talking with Sean yesterday, he did confirm for the conspiracies out there that it might have been something a little more sinister in terms of maybe perhaps something he ate that got to him. He said no, it was cramps. It was not anything worse than that.
I think everyone's picking up what you're putting down there. Wasn't as messy a situation as some thought.
Correct. Singleton wrapped up in the backfield by Rodney Matthews for a tackle for a loss.
Rodney Matthews, a guy to keep an eye on the back this year. Their best defensive lineman on the interior, plays on the other side of the football. Has got some twitch to him. Strong at the point. Nice play on the other side of the football there to create the negative play. Look, I'm not you, Phil, Tom, but this is an Ohio team that I think is going to have a real chance to make some noise in the MAC this year. They got a lot of nice pieces.
I agree, and they're an old team. They got a lot of experience. The quarterback's going to be a really good player. He's continuing to improve. They're going to be just fine.
Aller,
nice wrap.
Taken down at the 19-yard line for a sack by Bryce Houston. And when you get a hold of Drew Aller, you better make sure you stay with him until you get him to the ground at 6'6", 250.
This is an excellent job by Bryce Houston. Typically that second level backer, he's going to come up. He's going to loop all the way inside, and it comes clean. He never quits on the play. Excellent effort to the quarterback to complete the sack.
3rd and 20. Aller overthrown, incomplete, but man, that was a pretty good throw to Evans. The fact he even got it close, and again, just made it look effortless, throwing the ball 35 yards downfield, 4th down.
And that's why they punted the football. Give their defense some room, play a little field position, quick 3 and out. Nice job right there by Ohio responding and getting the stop.
Dusty, you talk about Ohio and the MAC coming up. You know, they lost 3 games in conference last year by 1, 3, and 7 points. So they're going to be just fine.
What Coach Albin talked to us about finishing games, right? Had to lead in a lot of those games, Tom.
Right.
Takes a friendly roll down to about the 30-yard line. 50-yard punt. So Ohio right back on the field. Now Tim Albin, second year. They were 3-9 last year. They were 0-4 outside of conference play. 3-5 in the league. Albin has been in Athens now for a long time. Was there under Frank Solich for 16 years as the offensive coordinator. And Solich did a great job. They had a win here at Penn State. They beat Pitt one year. Had some good wins. Had winning seasons for a decade. Trying to get the program back to where we're used to seeing Ohio. And as you guys were talking about, that means being in contention for a MAC title. From the Bobcat 30, Bangura stood up. Does a good job to push the pile out to the 35 for a 5-yard gain.
Good opportunity here for Abdul Carter back in the game. 11, as we talked about, his evening was shortened. 1 defensive snap, and he's out for a targeting call that was highly questionable. You're on 11 here the rest of the second half.
Got him. You got denied Dennis Sutton, Zane Durant, 2 other true freshmen on this Penn State defense. Going to be great players. Rourke, pressure in his face in the pass incomplete. Kobe King was in the backfield.
We've seen Manny Diaz a lot more aggressive in this game here today, Tom. You and I talked about really the first 3 quarters against Purdue. You know, he was a little bit less aggressive than we've grown accustomed to. He dialed it up more in the 4th quarter of that game, and down a distance kind of led to that. They were better on first down late, but man, this is the Manny Diaz we've grown accustomed to seeing, dialing up a lot of different pressures throughout the course of this game.
Yeah, especially when they've got Ohio behind the chains. They feel like the quarterback's not going to be able to just get the ball out quickly because you got to go further downfield with the ball.
Rourke on third down. That pass tipped by Brown, incomplete, so it's fourth down. We talked with Manny yesterday. He made an interesting point. He said, head coaches are getting hired earlier and earlier, leaving their programs, even if their team's playing in a big bowl like Brian Kelly. He said that's going to start happening more and more with coordinators. And look, Manny was a head coach. He got let go, and so he actually said he thought about just staying on his boat for a while, taking it easy for a few weeks, but when James Franklin called and then kept pursuing, he just felt that this was too good of an opportunity to pass up. As that punt goes off the side of the foot and out of bounds. Jack Wilson was the punter that time. Let's go to the studio and Kevin.
Dave, let's go. Time now for our mayhem moment, brought to you by Allstate. And Omarion Hampton, life for the Heels offense, 58 yards, and North Carolina and Georgia State tied at 28 apiece. This game over on ESPNU. One more quarter, we'll see about the fireworks. Back to you.
And how about Texas up to 16-10? Imagine if somehow Texas hangs on and wins that game.
We'll shake up in college football already in week 2, potentially.
Dusty and I want it. We love it.
Into chaos, Tom.
Absolutely.
Nicholas Singleton straight ahead for about 3.
You think about last year, it was kind of the year of the upset. I mean, Texas was a 3-touchdown dog in their own backyard. Would be a monumental win for Steve Sarkisian after going 5-7 a year ago, losing to Kansas on that same field.
It was a weird year because they started so well. We had them early in the season a couple times. Bijan Robinson looked like a Heisman candidate, but they fell apart. Again, it's Singleton, and he's still at 43.
Good physical run. I got to tell you, right there, nice run inside for Penn State.
Yeah, Dustin, we were talking on the field before the game with Ken Wisenhunt, who was a head coach in the NFL with the Arizona Cardinals and the Tennessee Titans. He's now an analyst here in his second year at Penn State. And if you're James Franklin, to be able to bring in somebody in that position that has Super Bowl experience, whether it was in Pittsburgh as an offensive coordinator or in Arizona, working with multiple quarterbacks, as they fake and around the edge, Singleton. Another house call. Touchdown, Penn State. 44 yards. Closing in on 175 in the day.
To wrap up your point, it's a great luxury for James Franklin to be able to acquire guys like that on his staff, a real key asset. And I'll tell you what else is a nice luxury. To be able to recruit and bring in guys like Nick Singleton. Wow. I mean, that's just Nick Singleton getting to the edge, shrugging off an arm tackle, and the speed. Man, if he gets to the sidelines, good luck catching him. Third explosive play of this ball game for the true freshman.
That's that change of pace, that smoke, that juice, whatever you want to call it, that's been lacking here since the departure of Saquon Barkley.
And you notice, Tom, Singleton's also a kick returner, just like Barkley.
Yep.
40 points for Penn State, and the score's 40-7 with 4:33 to go in the third.
Bring in an extra tight end, run it right off the right edge, and not great blocked. Amari Evans gets beat, and it's just a stiff arm and speed in the open field. Ooh, man.
They had the angle on him too.
Yeah, well, he's got the afterburners.
Yeah, he does.
You know, you guys were talking about the recruiting, getting these young players, and talking with Coach Wisenhunt, even though he's not technically a coach, but on the field before the game, he said one of the things that intrigued him, and he said a lot of former head coaches are intrigued by places like Penn State because of the tradition and because of the talent that you can get here.
100%.
We're seeing it on full display here today.
That's no doubt. And his fan base, right? I mean, it's an unbelievable place to come play.
What a great gig, too, right? I mean, if you eventually get back in as a coordinator, he was a coordinator, Phillip Rivers, and San Diego/LA for a little bit. 2 stints there as the coordinator.
Yeah, no question. Great gig. If you can get it, we're seeing that analyst role be more and more prevalent all across college football. Let's look at the star-studded freshman. He's only had 10 touches, but man, is he explosive. When he gets to the perimeter, watch out, because he's got the chance to take it the distance at any moment. 3 big runs here in this ball game. 70-yarder in the first half, and his second touchdown just moments ago.
And so Ohio has made a quarterback change, going to Parker Navarro. And so Curtis Rourke is done for the day. They probably just want to save him for what they would probably deem more important games, meaning MAC games. They run the ball here out to the 27-yard line. Nolan McCormick. Navarro from Tempe, Arizona, went to UCF, transferred to Ohio, broke his collarbone in the spring. This is his 3rd offense in 3 years, so he's a little bit behind. One of the reasons they want to get him on the field. Redshirt freshman.
Coach Isfording said he can really throw it. A lot of talent. See if he's able to put together some positive drives here in this second half.
Knocked down by Joey Porter. That's Wilson, sorry, Marquise Wilson.
Excellent position right there by Wilson. And that hand in there to get the pass breakout. This Penn State secondary, man, they are deep. They are talented.
And tall.
A lot of the starters are still out there. Got some of the rotation guys in up front. Wilson is the backup to Porter.
Showing pressure right here.
On 3rd down and 7. Here they come. Navarro, no shot. Ball came out. I think he got it back pretty easily. Going to bounce right up to him. So 4th down.
Boy, 0 blitz. No safeties in the middle of the field. Could be a casino call because they're bringing the house. Manny Diaz dials it up. Several Nittany Lion defenders get home. Ultimately, Johnny Dixon, I think the one that's going to get credited with that sack.
Manny Diaz putting a lot on tape, Dusty.
Man, even offensive coordinators in the Big Ten. And I mean, don't jump to the Big Ten. They got to go to Auburn next week.
Yeah.
Ryan Harsin and his staff have a lot to work through this upcoming week in preparation.
Parker Washington is deep. He's got it on his 37. Scoots out of play around the 44. All right, let's take a look at our lineup. We got the U.S. Open Women's Final this afternoon. Saturday Night Football, ABC. It's USC Stanford. Men's Final, U.S. Open tomorrow. And Monday Night Football, Broncos Seahawks. Russell Wilson returning to Seattle. You think all 4 AFC West teams make the playoffs?
No, I don't. I do think 3 make it, though.
You think 3?
I do. Got the Raiders just missing out.
But you have Denver in, huh? Okay.
Chiefs, Chargers, and I think Russell Wilson's going to make a massive difference for the Broncos this season.
The only thing is, he didn't, since that MVP first half of 2020, struggled a little bit after that. And then he got hurt last year. Allard taking off, dragging guys with him out to midfield. Gain of about 5.
Big body to bring down. You want to make a little side bet, by the way?
Huh? On what? Russell Wilson and Denver going to the playoffs? I'll say they missed the playoffs. What do we?
Okay.
They miss. I'm with Dave on this one.
Okay. I got both of you.
All right.
Fortunately, we can look back at this.
Allard wanting to go deep. Everybody covered. Oh, he actually had 2 guys open there, and he decided to tuck it and run. And he got about a yard. Kyle Kelly, Cannon Blauser on the takedown.
Looked like he definitely had a couple of guys right there on the perimeter. I don't know if he kind of lost track of where he was. Maybe he thought he was in front line of scrimmage. Opted not to try to throw.
At least he hasn't been sloppy with the football, though. He's made smart decisions. As a young player, you love to see that.
He was close to the line, so perhaps that was it. Though for it to be a foul, your whole body has to be over the line when you throw it. That one's on target for a Here's another true freshman. He's from Columbus, Ohio. It's a first down to the 41.
Nice adjustment there by Saunders. That pass actually thrown inside. Easily adjusts and enough to move the chains.
Last week, Aller was 2 of 4, 26 yards. Today, 4 of 5, 59 yards and a touchdown. And he's going to run here inside the 35-yard line. Gain of about 8. That time he would have been over the line when he faked that pass.
Good read, though, right there on that inside zone read. Defender collapses. He keeps because he's able to get to the edge. And a quality pickup on first down.
Final minute of the third quarter. Out in space to Wallace, grounded. No gain, maybe even a loss of 1 on the play. That should be the final play of the third quarter. That was 19-7, end of, well, about a minute left in the second quarter. Penn State, though, scored at the 22nd mark just before halftime and has not looked back. Impressive third quarter for the Nittany Lions. They outscore Ohio 14-0 in the third. They lead 40-7 with 1 quarter to play in Happy Valley. We'll be back with the fourth quarter after this message and a word from our ABC stations.
We're living that good, good life. We're living that I've got that blue sky. I've got that sunshine.
When you're struggling with your mental health or addiction,
it's time to take the first bold step.
It's time to share your story.
It's time to heal.
To heal your body.
To heal your spirit.
It's time to learn new ways to cope.
And to get where you want to be.
It's time to get real help from people who understand. It's time to come to Copper Springs.
So Sean Clifford played 1 series in that third quarter and then was done for the day. He's healthy, we're told. No issues. They just wanted Drew Aller to get some work. Clifford threw for over 200 yards and a touchdown. Also ran for a score. So he's accounted for 7 touchdowns in 2 games. Heading into a showdown with Auburn next week on the road. Aller throws and it's high. Boy, that probably was a touchdown because Wallace got behind the defense.
A little hot there and high. To his intended target on the slant. You're right. He was open with a lot of grass out in front.
Oh, he's gone.
Put that ball
foot in front of the numbers on the slant route. That's where that ball needs to be.
Put that ball out in front of him, right on his chest. He's running.
Penn State going for it on fourth down. Aller just too powerful. Gets the first down. Yeah, I think for Penn State fans that, for whatever reason, Sean Clifford, a lot of times over the last couple of years, and maybe it's just the inability to finish a season. And he even told us yesterday, look, I got to stay healthy. My tape was not good. Thought about going to the NFL, but he said my tape wasn't good. After the injury, I want good tape because he still has that dream of playing in the NFL. Even though, again, he's got his own business. He runs an NIL agency. He said he's helping out not only teammates, but other students on campus and some students on other campuses. And he says he's teaching a class right now, a marketing class. Already got a degree in advertising, broadcasting.
Young entrepreneur, a lot on his plate, but I think what's most important, and needs to be most important, is playing the best football he can, leading his football team.
And he said, look, I got a lot going on, but he said, I'm football. I love football. That's my first passion right now. The other thing, too, is Aller steps up here and throws deep, and it's a touchdown wide open for 6 points. Dinkins. They lost him, and it's an easy 6.
Man. Pocket awareness. Let's add that to the list of things that Drew Aller checks the box. I love how his eyes stay down the field. Ohio dials up the pressure, keeps his eyes down the field. A lot of times quarterbacks' eyes will come down with the rush, and he locates his target and puts it right on the money for a walk-in touchdown. Well done by Drew Aller.
6 completions, 2 of them for touchdowns for Aller. Henniger misses the extra point, but doesn't matter. It might matter to some, depending on how the game finishes, but right now it is 46-7 Penn State.
Well, Penn State's got a veteran quarterback in Sean Clifford, and boy, oh boy, they got a talented young true freshman in Drew Aller.
Bryce, they let you off campus.
What's going on, Timo?
Because you know when I was the first ever sophomore to win the high school.
Whoa. What's up, Bryce?
Go, 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 go.
What's going on here?
Just a little friendly competition, you know.
That's cute, Derek, but the competition was reps.
College football on ABC is presented by Arby's. Arby's, we have the meats.
And welcome back to State College. They passed Dusty Dvorak, Tom Luganville, 46-7 Penn State all over Ohio early here in the fourth quarter. Again, the Nittany Lions will head to Auburn. They also have games on the road at Michigan. And Ohio State, Michigan State will be here in Happy Valley. Kickoff taken from the 3 by Cole. He gets tattooed at the 20-yard line. All right, so you got the Tennessee Pitt up next year on ABC, and then tonight it's 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 Pacific. It is Stanford hosting number 10 USC.
One of Dave Pasch's college football playoff teams.
It's interesting, right? USC Stanford always play early in the year, but not much longer. USC's headed to the Big Ten.
That's right. Stanford, that was the last game of the Clay Helton era a season ago. Beat up on USC.
Navarro wrapped up at the 21. So with Lincoln Riley going to SC, Caleb Williams essentially goes with him. And the Biletnikoff winner at Pitt. We had Jordan Addison in that Pitt-Tennessee game last year. He's now with the Trojans.
Oh, we're looking at some talented freshmen here today for Penn State. And Caleb Williams was as talented a freshman as there was a season ago, and off to a great start there under Lincoln Riley. And well, he's got some weapons, doesn't he?
What's so interesting about that, and we had Oklahoma early in the year, is if Spencer Rattler plays well. Remember, Rattler was considered a Heisman Trophy candidate. Some had him as a favorite. Good run here out to 35. But if he plays well, we maybe don't see Caleb Williams at all. And then you have to wonder, does he stay? Does he go somewhere else? Does he end up at USC because of Lincoln Riley still?
But it didn't happen that way. Spencer Rattler didn't play well, and in the Texas game when Caleb Williams was given an opportunity, boy, did he make the most of it and never relinquished the position for the rest of the season. That was a nice run there off the left side for Ohio.
That was Nolan McCormick here. Navarro keeps it, and he makes a nice move. And then he's tracked down by Abdul Carter. All right, let's go to the studio and Kevin.
Okay, let's go back to Atlanta. Last time we saw the freshman Omarion Hampton, a big run. This one inside the 5, touchdown for the Heels, and they answer back now. They're up 35-28 against Georgia State. Johnny Majors Classic coming your way. Kickoff 3:41. Move back a little bit. Tennessee and Pitt. Panthers' first game since winning the backyard brawl, beating West Virginia.
All right, Kevin, looking forward to that. Navarro into Penn State territory. He gets level. Kevin Winston Jr. and Cam Miller, a pair of true freshmen there for the Nittany Lions. But Navarro able to move the chains.
Good read there by Navarro. He's right there on that zone read at the mesh point. Makes the proper read, gets to the perimeter, moves the sticks. Again, another one of these true freshmen. We said that a lot today, haven't we?
No kidding. And they're all good players, Dusty.
No,
really good.
There's McCormick straight ahead for about 3 yards. What do you guys think about, based on what you've seen today, And watching Purdue game last week, what do you think about Penn State's chances in the Big Ten?
Well, I think Ohio State's still the class, and man, it's tough to have too many knocks on Michigan. I'll be intrigued with Michigan, what happens with that quarterback battle. Cade McNamara started the first game, but the offense ran better when McCarthy came in. He'll actually start here today in week number 2. I think after that, I mean, Penn State got to be that next team in the conversation with Michigan State.
Navarro continues to get hit hard, but finds a way to move the chains again to the 38-yard line.
Got to go to Ann Arbor, October 15th. Ohio State comes here to Happy Valley. Michigan State comes here to close out the season.
Got Wisconsin, Ohio State coming up. That's going to be on one of our networks. And obviously the game.
Dusty,
Michigan finally beat Ohio State last year. Go ahead, Luke.
Sorry, I was going to say, I think the one thing coming into this game with Penn State and now leaving this game is there's still some questions in their offensive line a little bit. That area has got to improve from a consistency standpoint.
Especially with the front that Ohio State has, with the front that Michigan has been able to replenish, at least it seems like, had 7 sacks a week ago. I'm completely with you. I really like what Manny Diaz is starting to figure out defensively. You know, the end of that Purdue game, into this game, that secondary is absolutely stout. I think it's a front 7 that will continue to get better, but offensive line perspective, again, we've talked about it from the onset. We've had some big splash plays from Singleton, but can they move people? Can they consistently run the football? That's going to be the difference if Penn State is in the mix to really compete in this Big Ten East, which is an absolute bear of a division.
Navarro down to the 21 for 3 yards. When you think about the 11 Big Ten titles since the championship game came into existence, Ohio State's basically won half of them. Penn State in 2016. And Michigan obviously getting into the college football playoff and changing the paradigm there and the narrative about Jim Harbaugh not being able to beat Ohio State. They did last year. Michigan State got off to a great start last year. Still had a really good year. Mel Tucker got the huge contract extension. Navarro in trouble. Throws it away. Here to get outside the tackle box.
I tell you, I'm just going to be intrigued next week, Tom. I know it's not Big Ten play. We're focusing more on the Big Ten, but going into Auburn, SEC country, hostile environment. And I can't wait to see how this team, how they respond. It was an epic game last year right here, wide out early on in the season. But now Penn State's got to go back down south as Auburn's going to try to return the favor. I'm fascinated to see how this team shows up. Already shown they can win on the road in Purdue.
Pass is tipped, and it's intercepted. No, incomplete. Ball did hit the ground. Looked like they say incomplete, so no interception. Vanover got his hand on it. So it'll be 4th down.
And it's Jamari Button who tries to get the full extension and corral that ball. He comes to the ground, ball pops out, unable to secure it. Vanover definitely gets his hand up. Hits the ball.
Should have had the interception. He's going to be kicking himself.
Yes.
It was in his mitts.
Yes, he will.
All of these names you're mentioning here, sophomore, redshirt freshman, sophomore, true freshman. I mean, this is going to be a really stacked roster in the next couple of years.
Navarro has a completion inside the 10 to Bostic. The only thing there, I'm not disagreeing with you guys, but look, they're playing a team that went 3-9 last year. I mean, they're going to play Auburn next week, which didn't have a great year, but it's an SEC team. And then you have all those great teams in your division of the Big Ten.
That's right. That's why I think next week's going to be so interesting.
Yeah.
And hey, now, I mean, Purdue is a 9-win team.
Sure.
And a lot of people had them potentially winning the West. So, I mean, let's not just throw shade at that win that they were able to get in week number 1.
No, but the defense in terms of the points allowed, different story than
one of those was a pick 6.
Yeah. Yep.
The environment at Auburn is going to be a real telltale sign. How they handle the environment.
I'm with you. It's intriguing.
1st and goal. Navarro takes off inside the 5. Oh, gets crunched at the 4-yard line.
And they're excited about Kevin Winston Jr., who comes up and delivers a blow. Again, another true freshman. They want to get him into the mix and get him some run. He's gotten quite a bit of that here in the second half. And coming right at you, A big smack from the freshman safety.
Robbie Dwyer hit him first, hit him low, and then he bounced off of him and ran right into the heat-seeking missile, Kevin Winston. 2nd and goal. Navarro to throw. Fluttered. Like it got tipped. Incomplete.
I think that ball just came out of his hand awkward. I don't know if he thought about passing it and then didn't want to pass it. Odd release there from Paco Navarro.
It's like he wanted it to be on a string.
He's trying to be nice and just say it got tipped, so we're going to replay it. So they can have a laugh when they go look it back in the film room, but maybe not on national television. Trying to help the young man out. 3rd and goal. Better throw. Incomplete, though. Going for Bostic and Wilson in coverage for Penn State. 4th down.
Bostic trying to use that big body to get inside on the slants. A nice job by Wilson getting that arm inside, knocking it loose. Having himself a nice second half.
Ohio bring on the field goal team. At this point, just try to get some points rather than going for a touchdown. At that point, does it matter if you're a coach? Like, what are you looking for at that point? Do you just take points so it doesn't look as bad on the scoreboard, or you try to go for it on 4th down? 20-yard field goal is good, and it's 46-10 with 6:50 to go.
Arby's, 2 for $7.
Well, it's been the Drew Aller show here in the second half for Penn State. The talented true freshman with a beautiful deep shot on his first passing touchdown. And then we see the pocket savvy by the 6'5" big man as he locates his second target for a touchdown on the afternoon. In total, 6 of 8, 88 yards and 2 touchdowns. His debut here inside this stadium, and how about that for a stat? 400 of 528 total yards by true freshman here today. Good for 76% of the Nittany Lion offense.
5 touchdowns by the Penn State freshman.
It's pretty good, huh? Take that.
Get a chance to rest Clifford a little bit too, and some of the other veterans.
Meaningful snaps and reps here for a lot of guys that if this team's going to make a real push, we talk about that depth, it's going to come into play throughout the course of this season.
A little hesitant there, Evans, but eventually takes it out, tackled shy of the 20.
We're going to see Christian Valle here.
All right, so the 3rd string quarterback going to get some work when we come back. Today's Players Spotlight brought to you by Champion. Nicholas Singleton, what a home debut for the true freshman who was the National Player of the Year in high school. First time since Kevon Lee at Michigan 2 years ago to have over 100 rushing yards. A span of 17 consecutive games without a 100-yard rusher for Penn State, and he almost had 200. Saunders on the catch and 1st down. We have a new quarterback in Christian Valle, a redshirt freshman from Canada who played some last year against Rutgers. He was essentially the backup to Sean Clifford in 2021. Getting Valle some work here, throwing the ball, and it's a 1st down catch. Let's go to Kevin in the studio.
Dave, reminding our audience, we've got Pitt, Tennessee coming your way. Jared Wayne coming off 3 catches, 89 yards in that win against West Virginia. Also updating you, at the moment, Texas up 19-17 against Alabama.
How much you want to bet Bryce Young leads them down the field and they win the game after all that?
That's definitely possible. I mean, we've seen it many a times from him. Saw it last year in the Iron Bowl.
Bayer throws underneath. Tank Smith. That's a good name for him. Looking at that body.
Again, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. The fact that that's a highly competitive game, I think, is great for college football, because most thought that Alabama was just going to roll out there, and by the end of the first quarter, the game would be over. But, and again, I don't have a rooting interest one way or the other. You think my Oklahoma background would tell me I'd like to see Texas lose. I think it'd be fascinating to see Texas find a way to get a stop and get the win.
Wide receiver screen that is blown up that time by McCrory. So Evans had no chance. As soon as he caught the ball, he was dumped. It'll bring him third down and long. I mean, we all love chaos in college football. What does chaos mean? It means the teams that are ranked high go down.
Right.
And go down early in the year. And that's the thing. I mean, Alabama could lose this game and still win the national championship. That's if they lose this game.
Makes for a better regular season.
A little intrigue.
So third down and 10. Bayer's pass incomplete. I wonder if the receiver there, Dinkins, got distracted because it's close to being tipped. There were a couple of Ohio defenders underneath.
Ball hit him in the hands, though. You'd like to see him complete that catch. Move the chains. Rowlett pushed it up past the sticks and just unable to haul in that pass.
I think he saw 33 Cannon Blauser, excuse me, kind of get right in front of his line of sight with his hands. He might have come close to picking it off.
A fourth down and 10. Penn State will punt it away. They wanted to get Bayer some work, and they did just that. Another great punt by Amore. Checks up at about the 7-yard line. Back for the final 4:19. Coming up in just a couple minutes on ABC, Pitt, Tennessee. Keaton Slovis in his debut in the backyard brawl against West Virginia threw for over 300 yards. Transfer from SC, replacing Kenny Pickett, who's with the Steelers. Hendon Hooker against Ball State. 4 touchdowns in week 1.
He's been impressive. We had that game a season ago, week 2. It's when he took over. Man, did he put together a spectacular season. I like Tennessee in that ball game here later this afternoon.
C.J. Harris in the game at quarterback. He keeps it. Brought down after a gain of 1 by Vanover.
Josh Heupel's done an excellent job there in Tennessee, inheriting a very bad situation that did not take him long in year 1. Really got that thing turned in the right direction. A lot of optimism there in Knoxville. Pitt's the reigning ACC champ, so should be a heck of a matchup.
Finally feels like there is some stability with the Tennessee program. Big hit on the quarterback, C.J. Harris, by Dennis Sutton.
You'll never guess. True freshman. Nice inside move by Sutton with the hit on the quarterback.
By the way, Alabama just kicked the field goal with about 10 seconds left to take a 20-19 lead over Texas. Here are some of the other games on our networks. Kentucky, Florida, with the Gators jumping all the way to number 12 from the unranked position from last week after they went over Utah.
BYU Baylor is going to be a fun game to watch this evening as well.
Harris pass incomplete, 4th down.
A nice little menu for the rest of the day on the family of networks. Quality games each of the time slots the rest of the day. So awesome day to sit on your couch and take in some great college football.
Is Alabama still number 1 though? Yeah, they're going to win the game, but are they still number 1? They're still the best team in college football? You said something during the break. Why don't you say it on the air? Because you said it during the break. This game is similar to a game Alabama played early last year.
Florida, week 2, where they barely won. They had to get a 2-point conversion stop. Everybody started questioning, how good is this team? And clearly they were still pretty good enough to win the SEC and have a lead in the 4th quarter of the national championship game.
Bryce Young, the play where he should have been sacked gets out of there and runs for about 20 yards and gets him into field goal range for the go-ahead field goal.
They're not all going to be easy.
That's right. Was a penalty on the play.
The kick, holding, receiving team number 28. 10-yard penalty from the end of the kick. 1st and 10, Penn State.
So the last possession, they ran their offense with Christian Veer, and we'll see if they do that again here, if they just run the ball to get this thing over with. But you don't know how many opportunities you are going to have to play your third-string quarterback and give him some live reps.
I think about Ohio here, too. You know, playing this game, they had to go to Ames next week, and they catch Fordham before they get into action, starting out at Kent State. But it's a team I really believe you keep your eye on. Had a chance to have some real success this season inside of MAC play.
Bayer has a completion to Mega. So I guess they're going to let Bayer go out there and spin it around as you look at what the quarterbacks have done. The other two, Aller, 6 of 8, 2 touchdowns. Clifford accounted for 2 touchdowns. Basically played a half. He played 1 series in the 3rd quarter. Another pass play. Mega with a first down to the 39. That'll stop the clock to reset the chains.
Strong hands, a good concentration to complete that catch through the contact. Goes up to get it, and he takes a shot. He holds on to the ball.
Go ahead, Tom.
I'm sorry. I kind of like this Veyer kid. He might be somebody we find in the transfer portal at some point and ends up being a pretty good player.
One of 2 Canadian quarterbacks in the game today, Dave.
No gain there for Tyler Holsworth. Approach 2 minutes to go. Second and 10. Bayer hit and sacked back at the 47. At this point, I don't think James Franklin's intention is to run it up, but got to think that there's some Ohio fans wondering at this point why they're still throwing. You let your third-string quarterback throw the ball. You see him make some good plays. Just end the game.
Credit to Ryan Buell. Hasn't given up. Chance for him to pad the stats a little bit. Backup defensive tackle with a nice sack right here. As you mentioned, Penn State continuing to try to run offense and throw the football as opposed to just run this thing out.
3rd and 17. You give it to Tank. That'll take us down to about 30 seconds or so, 20 seconds before the 4th down play.
It's a very fitting name.
I was going to say
Tank.
the same thing.
Man, name matches the body type.
We're going to keep the offense on the field here, which is understandable at this point. 4th and 13. And they just run it with Tank. And he doesn't get the first down, so Ohio will have to come on the field for one more play. 15 seconds to go. Penn State going to go to 2-0 with trip to Auburn coming up.
Looking forward to that game next week, man. It's going to be, I think, very telling. Just to continue to see the progression of this football team. Hostile environment, as Tom mentioned earlier, and be a real tester. They've already been tested once early. West Lafayette. They can start out 3-0 with wins at Purdue and at Auburn. Does kind of start to feel like A lot of credibility what James Franklin told us, that he feels that they're back where they want to be here this season.
So that should do it. Ohio drops to 1-1. Penn State goes to 2-0. Impressive showing by the Nittany Lions, really in every phase. And they win it 46-10. For Dusty Dvorak, Tom Luganville, our entire ABC crew, I'm Dave Pasch saying so long from Happy Valley. Penn State, which the last couple years struggled by their recent standards after a great 4-year run. Nittany Lions look like they're back to being a contender in the Big Ten after an impressive win, 46-10 over Ohio.